For the 8th year, the iRacing World Cup finals are about to happen, with 4 teams looking to get themselves the title. Diach, Finland, Club UK and Ireland, and Club Northwest were all here 1 year ago in the finals, which was won by Club Finland. This year, it's new tracks, new cars, new combinations, but still, there can only be one winner. Welcome to the 2016 World Cup of iRacing Finals on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacingLive, which starts after these messages. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the corner of 16th Street and Georgetown Speedway, Indiana, about 5 miles northwest of the state capital. We are here for the first part of our coverage. We are here for the oval portion of the World Cup of iRacing Finals. Track conditions here today will be one thing we'll be talking quite heavily about. High humidity, 71 degrees Fahrenheit, there's some clouds in the sky, and we've got a wind speed of about 3 kilometers an hour. The oval portion of this broadcast will see us racing for 80 laps around one of the world's most famous race courses, Wolverhampton, along with Cisco Scaramuza, as well as Jonas Poaka, as we are ready to go and think about what is happening in terms of qualifying. 2 times up on the board already, Cisco, and these guys are looking to show and get early advantage here because, well, actually, it can be tough to overtake here.
Yeah, this is a very narrow track. Well, we talk about it all the time. This is one of the most challenging oval circuits on not only the NASCAR circuit, but you also see MotoGP race here and IndyCar as well. Of course, the famed Indy 500 just had its centennial this year, but we're not here to talk about IndyCar. We're here to talk NASCAR tonight, and we're here to talk about World Cup. And for these guys in these NASCARs, this is not a track built for NASCARs, and it's easy to tell. There's not a lot of banking. It's hard to chuck these cars into the corner. These flat tracks is where you have to see the tire wear come into effect, and like you said, it's narrow, it's hard to pass, and the aerodynamics here are unlike any other track we're going to go to. It's almost like a super speedway out there, except for those corners.
They first started running NASCAR at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 1994. For many years, they just had one event take place at the Speedway, and of course that was the 500. And NASCAR had itself a stint with Formula 1 racing as well. We just showed you Rob Reed, who's currently leading qualifying for Club UK and Ireland. We have got other people out on track right now, and I've been saying this one all month long, really, Cisco. Who's going to win the World Cup? Well, it's not going to be necessarily the team that gets the most drivers, you know, in the top 3. It will be the team that loses the least amount of points. Depth of field is so important here. They've got 10 drivers each. They've got the ability to get points for 9 of them. Those 7th, 8th, and 9th positions are going to be the difference maker.
Absolutely, and we talked about consistency. Do you want to go out and win this race? Absolutely, but that's not going to be the team that wins. It could happen. The top team could win the race and end up getting a bunch of great finishing positions, but it all comes down to the team that gets the most cars in the top 10. The guys that stay up there, that are consistent. They aren't using up their car. They're going out there, being consistent, and holding those positions. And like we said before, this track is very narrow. That's something that you can do here, unlike any other track. You really can defend that position. But if you're trying to race for the win and defend your position at the same time, you're not going to be able to do that, Will, because you're going to be too hard trying to be aggressive. You might just give up, you know, 1-2 places, or you might make a move that costs you the race win and costs you valuable championship points.
We're on board with Aleksi Aluma right now for Club Finland. Let's listen in for a moment. Well, maybe not. Aleksi Aluma's P number 16 in terms of qualifying. We've got ourselves Jonas Purka here as well. And Jonas, well, we've got ourselves about 9 drivers who have yet to qualify. Qualifying track conditions here are very difficult. Talk us through it.
The conditions are very difficult indeed, Will, and especially hearing from some of the drivers themselves, these are some of the most difficult conditions they have ever driven in Indianapolis. The track is not especially hot, but the conditions are very difficult, and we see drivers who have made a lot of name for themselves, such as you saw in Aleksi Aluma doing. He didn't get a good qualifying lap in on his first lap, he was sliding around a lot on his second lap, and as we see, he ended his qualifying lap on the wall. So that was not what he was after, and drivers are in fact putting some practice laps in after they have already finished their qualifying, so that is something to watch out for too. They really have to get used to these conditions, even though there have been hundreds and hundreds of practice laps put in, and it goes to show you that even these oval veterans, they are not necessarily used to these conditions, Will.
Sahil Mustak then 13th place for the time being for Club UK and Ireland. We just showed him. Only other driver out on track at the moment is Patrick Kopp, who has yet to set himself a qualifying time right now. Exiting turn number 4 then comes Patrick Kopp towards that famous yard of bricks. And what time will he do? Where will he put himself for the time being? It is going to be start of a lap. So nowhere just yet, Cisco. Got himself a nice little run through turn number 1. Turn 2 is the big trouble corner in terms of these stock cars. It so often is turn 1 for the Indy cars, but turn 2 for these NASCARs is the corner you need to make sure you nail.
And it's a corner unlike really what you see on the NASCAR circuit. I'd equate it to the closest thing you're going to see maybe is what we'll see next week starting in the NASCAR series, those corners off the Homestead Miami Speedway coming out of the bends there. But apart from that, this is much more narrow, and as you see Patrick Kopp doing right there, he flew right out to the wall, but he just isn't getting those apex.
We're going to step aside for one moment, back in just one moment after these messages.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Welcome back. Here's your starting grid for the 2016 World Cup of iRacing Finals. And the top 2 rows, you've got 2 Club UK and Ireland drivers and 2 Finnish drivers. It's Rob Reed, pole position. Tommy Hacker was only 5/1000ths of a second back. Very, very close. Your top 2 rows. Timo Evenham in 3rd place. And Christian Challoner in 4th place. We cycle it on back and you see more Finnish drivers there in rows number 3 and 4. Just 1 Club UK and Ireland driver. We go way back before we see any other clubs here, Cisco. This is really interesting. Diach and Club Northwest, not a single driver inside of your top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to go all the way back to, I believe, the 46 car where we're going to see a Northwest car. So, I don't know. These guys just not having the qualifying order they were looking for. We have to go all the way back to 13th to find a Diach car. Not what these guys want here, but they're going to have to make a lot of moves if they hope to get back up there. Meanwhile, Finland has more cars in the top 10 as of right now, but UK and Ireland are right there knocking on the door.
And this is going to be helpful for Club Finland at the start of this motor race, especially with that many drivers. It means that they don't have to worry so much about getting themselves issues at the start of this motor race. It will, however, be an interesting time with Diach and Northwest, how they can move up through the field, especially when you consider the fact that it can be tough to overtake at this racetrack. Here's a look then at the cars working themselves down that 7/8 of a mile back straight away in towards turn number 3 and 4. 80 laps we will be running for here today for the first part of the 2016 World Cup of iRacing Finals. There's still a road race to go after that, but you can see your top about 14-15 positions. It's all about Finland and UK and Ireland. Diach, Northwest, with a lot of work to do over the next 80 laps or so. That pace car is going to head itself down towards pit road. The field in the command then of Club UK and Ireland. Rob Reed, as the field will come down for the start of this event. Green flag in the air. We go racing. Let's experience the first lap with these drivers. Four-car breakaway out front, early going there, Cisco. So we've got a 4-car breakaway, then a 5-car breakaway. But for the time being, we get ourselves through lap number 1 without any real issues.
Absolutely. Rob Reed leads the field right now, and right behind him, I can't say I'm surprised, leading the charge for Club Finland. Teemu Ivonen, he's leading. He's Mr. iRacing Pro Series. He knows how to get it done in these stock cars. He's done it before, and looking like he wants to do it again here.
It really seems to be a race of two halves right now. Club UK and Ireland, Club Finland out front. Then you've got yourself Club Northwest and Club Diaz in the second half of your field. On board with the driver of Teemu Ivonen for Club Finland, and there is the gap to the race leader. It's about half a second right now. And one of the things, Jonas, that Teemu Ivonen can do is just ride for the time being, put the pressure on Rob Reed, and hope that his tyres go away much earlier than what he'd be expecting.
Absolutely, Will. The issue is here at Indianapolis is that you can be much faster when driving behind another driver. That is what we heard from practice. That is what we've also seen in races. You can be so much faster when driving behind someone until the gap is about 2 seconds. So Teemu actually has an easy job to stay behind Rob Reed. Yes, Rob is a very fast driver, but Teemu is not far behind, if at all, in terms of raw pace. And he is also holding that line of Tommi Haahka, Christian Challenger, and Hannu Etupalta behind him. Well, Hannu Etupalta is a bit further away now, but it looks like that if the Finns stay as it is, if Teemu can stay behind Rob Reed and have Tommi Haahka behind him holding Christian Challenger back, then they can absolutely bring the fight to the lead early on, Will.
Yeah, we'll get live timing and scoring up for you. It's available now. Just visit RaceSpot.tv/timing. And if you'd like to get social with us, you can do so. We'll show you the details in just one moment's time. There is the front of your field. And you notice that you've then got a pretty significant gap from P4 through to P5. That is Hannu, number 10 machine there, versus the number 78 machine of Christian Challenger. As they head themselves through corner number 2 once again, that is a 5-car pack, 6-car pack, 7-car pack, trying to hunt down your top 4. But Cisco, at this stage, it seems as though you've got those top 4 drivers really pulling away.
And the arrows and advantage of those top 4, they can stick together, kind of form a little bit of a pack like what you would see at a super speedway. For these guys, kind of 5th on back, these guys have to, in one way, if they hope to catch the leaders, they have to work together. It's kind of odd to say that, considering you have a lot of club drivers at odds there. You have the UK driver in 6th as well as 9th. Everyone else there, Club Finland. These guys, if they hope to get back up to that 4th place Christian Challenger, they're going to have to work together. They're going to have to draft to get back up to the top pack. And if you're Finland right now, I don't think you even want to do that.
No. And there's going to be different strategies in play for each of these 4 teams right now. The first one will, of course, be survival. Making sure that these guys get themselves to the end of this motor race, because that is the only way, in many ways, they'll have the chance to get themselves key points. The thing that's worth noting is that we do actually have all of our drivers on track right now, Cisco. So we thought there might be a high attrition rate here, not in the first 5 laps, but the key thing will be getting yourself to the end of the motor race. And it seems to be right now that these drivers are more worried about just turning laps than they are about making track position.
You're absolutely right. There are a couple drivers, though, right now, Will, who are on the move. Plus 11 right now. Aaron Maspero in that number 21 car for UK and Ireland. He has gained 11 spots right now. He's a man on a mission back in 23rd, trying to get everything he can. Then Alexi Aloma, he's in 12th right now, plus 6. That's a driver we have to watch. We know what he can do here on the racetrack, here in the sim. Amazing driver out of that camp, and he's doing a great job right now.
Yeah, Daniel Newman is also having himself a good run. He's up 6 places so far in the DH number 6 machine. And that's going to be the thing, you know, just keeping an eye out on these DH drivers, I think. And it's a shame, it's almost confusing in some ways, Cisco, how at the start of this motor race at least, we haven't really got any real competition from Club Northwest.
No, and I don't know if it's just, you know, they don't have this, you know, the speed right now or what the case is, but they're all kind of running together. I mean, there's packs of them. You don't see one of them, like, up a little bit higher in the grid. I mean, you got one in 22nd, then you got 3 guys 24th, 25th, 26th, and then another pack of them 31st through 34th, and then a couple more at the tail end of this pack. They're together, but they're just not up.
Yeah, and Sean Breitsman has just lost the position there to Aaron Maspero. for Club UK and Ireland. So that's another position lost for the Northwestern team right now, out of corner number 4 towards the start-finish line once again. And these are the other drivers we're talking about there for Club Northwest, embroiled in that kind of DH battle going on there as well. And that's a key thing. It's worth noting these drivers towards the rear of the field, Jonas, because for Club DH, if they're going to have drivers outside of your top 25, then we could end up with a 2-horse race by the time we get ourselves to the roadside of things. Before we even leave Indy, we could be down to 2 teams in the hunt.
Yes, and that is very interesting because DH is usually stronger on the road. We have seen that, but they are not bad on the oval side at all. And I'm just surprised early on, at least. This is still early goings here, remember. But DH should be stronger than they are right now. They got a lot of good oval drivers. They got people like Stefan Nobis, for example. Just a one good oval guy. Daniel C. Neumann as well. He's good on the ovals. But we haven't seen much from those guys. And if it's gonna be the same situation than in the semifinals week, that we see DH's B team, so to speak, then I quite frankly say that they haven't got a chance when it comes to road. Because a lot of other teams, at least Finland, that I know, and also Club UK and I, are gonna be fielding their A teams. So right now it looks to be, still early goings, remember, but looks to be between Finland and UK and I for the time being.
Timo Ivonen has moved himself to the top of the timing sheets. Rob Reed down into second place. So as it stands at the front of your field, it is Club Finland, then 2 Club UK and Ireland drivers, then Club Finland have 2 drivers that round out your top 5. Timo Ivonen leading laps now in this event. You don't get points for leading laps, you get points for what happens come the race end. But the first 12.5% of this event has really shown it to be a tale of 2 teams. Side-by-side racing right now going on between Jere Sapala and Sahil Mustak right now. Number 18 machine on the inside, that is Sahil Mustak. On the outside is Jere Sapala. They head themselves then down the 7/8 of a mile, back straight away in towards turn 3 and 4, Cisco.
And Mustak had a great run down there. He's going to be able to jump to that inside. He's going to have to make sure, and no, Sapala, he won't be able to get the run out of the corner there, just lets the 18 go. So the 18 on the move. He's up to 9th right now, doing a great job. He's got to regain some more position, or no, he's up 6 actually. I was looking at the wrong number there. He is doing a great job in this motor race, actually. He's going to try and pass another driver here, and that's Sevalainen right in front of him here, so he can get in front. These UK and Ireland drivers, they're starting to group up a little bit. You got Rob Reed and Christian Challoner in 2nd and 3rd, and then you got Fluke and Mustek 6th and 8th, so these guys start to group up now.
There they are. And there's the top 8 then, down at the bottom of your screen. Sahil Mustak used to Sevalainen going at it once again. Inside line being held by Sahil Mustak, and he will get himself then the advantage into corner number 3. That was very easy when all was said and done there. The draft working well, but it seems like these top 10 drivers or so, Cisco, they're not being too aggressive in terms of giving a place and getting a place, because they know there will be swings and roundabouts here. And what they want to make sure is they don't want to cause too much animosity. I think Finland and UK and Ireland have realised they can make this a 2-horse race, but what they can't do is just take points off each other unnecessarily.
Absolutely, and Team DH gets closer and closer to actually getting some points here. Stefan Nobis just took over 11th spot. He's got one more spot to get here to break into the top 10, and finally we'll have a driver that's not one of these 2 clubs in the top 10. Daniel C. Newman not far behind him, but this is kind of just a lockout right now between these 2 clubs, like you said.
Stefan Nobis is in 11th position. It is Jere Sapala just there. Well, actually, this is going to be done by turn number 4, potentially, because Sapala just runs high in towards turn 3. That allows Nobis the inside line into turn number 4, and that one looks as though that should be completed way before these drivers getting towards turn number 1. Yep, it's done before we even get towards the yard of bricks. So now move a Club DX driver up into your top 10. That is Stefan Nobis. He's moved himself into that 10th position. It's been a good day in the office for him, at the very least, so far here today. Tyre wear, Jonas, is going to be important from about this point in. Strategy will be critical as well. We're thinking they could do 1 stop to the end if it stays green.
Yes, well, they could do, but 33 laps is about the issue, so they will need 2 stops if it stays green. Meanwhile, we got also Daniel C. Neumann challenging Simo Leppänen, and Simo Leppänen, I want to talk about him briefly. He's the mastermind behind Club Finland. He is the analyst, the strategist that does these strategies. When we talk about strategies, he gets overtaken here, but he is being really calm right now. So 33 laps is the fuel limit. These tires, NASCAR sticky tires, they will last for about 2 laps at their best. But if you are going to the end, then go to the end. Don't pick up extra tires if you can make it on fuel. That's what the drivers are saying, and that's something that we are going to watch out for, because there is going to be somebody, if we get yellows in this race, there is going to be that somebody who is going to opt for track positions, especially if there's more than one yellow. So that is going to be something interesting to see how fast they fall. Also, there is a good battle going on. I think you should get that over. Jere Seppälä having some difficulties, and Sebastian Lindqvist might overtake him easily. We also have Jukka
I need to interrupt. We'll be back in 1 second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies about that. You're watching the World Cup of iRacing here on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacingLive. Lap number 17 of 18 going on right now. Timo Iivonen leads away by 0.7 of a second. Right now, Jonas, let's go back to the point you were talking about. Strategy, fuel, tyres.
Strategy, fuel, tires, absolutely crucial here at Indy. Fuel, it will last for 33 laps. The optimal stint length, at least from what I heard, is going to be less than that, obviously. It's not going to be much less than that, but it is going to be less than that. As for the strategies, well, I think Finns are pulling off their strategy quite well right now. They got Teemu in the lead. They got another Finn in the lead group, Tommi Hahka, who cannot quite follow, and I'm surprised, cannot quite follow Rob Reed or Christian Challener right now. But Hannu Etupalta is catching up to him and is dragging Jamie Fluke along with him. So we might see a situation where this 4-car lead back is going to suddenly become a 6-car lead back, and we also got yellows.
First yellow of the day, and Jared Morgan, number 96 Club Northwest Machine, is one of those involved in it. Replay coming up for you, and well, that throws a spanner in the works of quite a lot of things. Let's have a look then and show you what happened. This is down in toward turn number 1. Cars flying through turn number 1, and then it is that dodgy turn 2 for the first time, biting someone here today. And it was just getting to that point that these tyres were really starting to fall off. Jared Morgan, number 96 Machine, back end. That is exactly what a crash at turn 2 is almost supposed to look like. That was exactly the type of thing we're expecting someone to do, Cisco.
And Will, what happened there was that he was stuck to the bottom of that track, which is great and all, but he didn't apex out of the corner. The car got loaded up, and that's what happens. He got below that white line. That's all she wrote right there. Car gets loose on you because you're not unloading that right side.
Yeah. Okay. So, here we are then. Timo Iivonen leads this motor race right now. They're all going to bunch up behind the iRacing first safety car, but Cisco, thoughts of the first, essentially 1/4 of this event?
Yeah, green they've run so far, Will, and the big thing I have to notice here is UK and Ireland in a very interesting spot right now. They held 2nd and 3rd, and then 6th and 7th. If they get up to 4th and 5th, if they have 4 cars right in the notch of, or like right smack in the middle of this field at the top 10, they might be able to actually do something here, especially with that DH driver coming into play here. So if they can get up and kind of control that middle of the pack, like we talked about, that's consistency right there, Will. I don't know how the points will fall, but that's going to be tough to overcome.
Yeah.
They'll definitely be, they won't be as, you know, out of it as we might think. You know, Finland having more drivers in the top 10, but if they can kind of maintain that grasp over kind of that mid-pack there, that's going to be tough for these guys to overcome.
Right, pit road is open. We expect everyone to come on towards pit road this first time by. Let's have a look then. Who is coming in? Well, the answer is pretty much everyone except for one DH driver, Jonas.
Yes, Patrick Kopp is staying out on the racetrack, but there is a good reason for that, Will. He is 2 laps down, so he cannot pit quite yet.
There we are. You always wonder when you see someone going off strategy, but in this case, this driver scored many laps down already in this event, so he'll get one of those back for the wave round, but he'll be looking for a quick caution, because otherwise he'll undo all that hard work by having to pit under green. You do lose a lap by pitting under green in this series, at this track, at this layout. And then IndyCar, you can pretty much just about get away with staying on the lead lap if things go your way. Not the case in one of these stock cars. There you can see then the race off of pit road, and it pretty much is as was, although the number 10 machine, fantastic pit stop by him there, moved himself up into the 10th position, Jonas.
Yes, Hannu Etupalta actually takes the 3rd position from Tommi Hahka, and most importantly, now that we got Teemu Iivonen in the lead, then you got Rob Reed, then you got 2 Finnish drivers. You got Hannu Etupalta and you got Tommi Hahka, who are very, very fast indeed, especially Tommi Hahka, and Christian Challenger now down to the 5th position. So, what I'm expecting to happen, might just happen, if Finns pull off the strategy, they will let Hahka pass Etupalta right off the start, and then Etupalta perhaps holding up Challenger a little bit, and then boom, you got the situation where you would have Tommi Hahka and Teemu Iivonen working against Rob Reed in the top 3.
Yeah. And what that was, Will, the 78 slid through his box on pit road. I was watching, he went through his box, backed it up, had to back it up there. Precious seconds lost during that pit stop.
Although at the same time, if you're going to make a mistake on pit road, do it early in the race, don't do it late in the race, Cisco.
Absolutely, and the good news for him is that basically now he's found his teammates. We have 3 of those 4 UK drivers all together.
Okay, no, so I thought again, was in that same situation. It's like UK and I drivers coming back on towards pit road. It's okay. That is the driver scored laps down. That is Jake Forrester, who's deciding to actually take the pit stop rather than actually get himself the wave around. Carry on, Cisco.
I was just going to say that they have that Finland roadblock. I mean, they have row 2 of this restart locked down right now for Club Finland. But you got 3 of the drivers together there. Rob Reed's going to be at a little bit of a loss because he's stuck on that outside. That's going to be hard to come back going into turn 1 like that. That's going to be a hard thing for him to do to try and take this lead. I think your best strategy here, drop into 2nd. Make sure you've got those Finnish drivers behind you. Maybe hold them up for your teammates. Not really sure what the plan is, but you got to think there's probably a plan brewing right now in that UK and Ireland chat.
Those lights are still on top of the iRacing safety car. So still, Jonas, everyone will have to pit at least one more time. But the green flag running that we saw there, 20 laps, the drop-off was about what we expected for these cars.
Yes, it was. It was exactly how these guys have practiced. I have heard some drivers practicing 1,000 laps last week alone. That is over 10 times the race distance we are doing here tonight, so they will be prepared and they will be ready. One more driver I would like you to keep an eye on. Sporting Tat golden number 33 on his car, Aleksi Elomaa, in P number 8 right now, right behind Sahil Mustak and Jamie Fluke as well, right behind those UCAN guys. And if there's someone from Finland who is going to set his sights on that top 5, that is going to be Elomaa. Remember, he is Finnish champion from this year in both road and oval side. That's how good he is.
He is indeed. He has also run successfully previously in years of the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series, as well as the IndyCar Premier Series. So many other forms of motorsports here on the iRacing service. There's a look at these guys as they just head themselves towards the start-finish line, and those lights now should be off of the iRacing first safety car the next time, well, when they come past the yard of bricks. They do so. Now you'll see Club DX driver will get himself the wave around, lights it off. That will mean Timur Evening will be bringing the field back to the green in just 1 moment's time. There's your top 8. Timur Evening inside row 1. We'll have Rob Reed alongside of him for this restart. It'll be worth thinking about whether these Finnish drivers will try and anticipate this start together. Here's Cisco to try and leave Rob Reed out in the dark.
There you go. There's your answer right there. Jonas just going in there. You think they're talking about that restart, Jonas?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry, I was going to let you speak, but I'm just going to answer that one briefly. Yes.
There you go.
That's a simple one. They work themselves out of corner number 2, down the back straight away. Got yourself the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, of course, just behind that stand. There's a golf course at this racetrack as well. And for a few years, as we mentioned previously, they did have a kind of Grand Prix track running. It was used first of all, of course, for the United States Grand Prix. Been used for a time for the MotoGP as well as in the Verizon IndyCar Series once they started running the Andes List Grand Prix of Indianapolis. Started a few years ago. Through north end of the racetrack, turn number 3 and 4.
Oh, there's my seat from this year.
Yeah. You probably see me passed out somewhere in the snake pit if you look carefully enough.
Oh, okay. They have your picture in there.
Yeah. Out of turn number 4. Restart is upon us. Pace car comes in late. Anticipating the start, Rob Reed will have a lot of work to do. And now they go. Green flag back in the air. Up into second place goes the 10 machine. Rob Reed down into 3rd.
They boxed him out, Will.
Yep, exactly like we thought they would. Behind. Oh, they're 3 wide for a moment there in towards turn 2, Cisco.
Yeah, that's a great battle back there. We got a great battle. Diaz trying to go on the move here. Novis is trying to jump ahead, and Newman's not too far behind him. It's crazy back there as they go down the back straight away as they head down to turn 3. But UK and Ireland did what they had to do. They boxed Finland out to the outside, and you can't make that work in these cars. That's not possible.
Yep, so they all get through the first lap again without incident, unless something's going to happen in corner number 4. Close side-by-side racing. Jamie Fluke and caution. They don't make it through. Curse of the commentator. Strikes once again. And that's Diaz. Diaz involved in it. Club Northwest involved in that one. At the very, very least there. Cisco, talk us through it.
That was the 37 car of Hensel. He was stuck on the high side there. Not sure why he didn't apex down to turn 3. Stuck on the outside. Car just got loose and turned right into the 24 there. And just got loose. And, oh, no, there were even bigger problems in front of that. The 24. No, that was from, he got tagged there, spun up in front of his teammate there, and just calamity.
Well, 2 Northwest drivers involved in that, and a Club DX driver. Good heads-up driving by 2 of these DX drivers there, Jonas, to make sure they didn't get involved in that wreck, because otherwise that could have been disastrous for DX. Now, this driver of the number 37 machine, of Marian Hensel, if he does end up retiring from the race, that's okay, so long as no one else in DX retires.
Exactly, and it was very good avoidance indeed, especially by car number 35, Patrick Kopp. He was already going to overtake the number 40 of Roman Walter, and then he just goes into the corner and he sees something happening. Perhaps team communications. He sees the 37 spinning and then sees the wreck ahead and just slows right down on the inside and avoids all the corners. Now granted, Patrick Kopp isn't in exactly the best situation already. He is still 2 laps down. He's got damage on his race car, but It's good that he didn't add any more damage, especially if it was already going to damage some more DH cars. So it was big calamity for Club Northwest and Club DH as well, but it could have been so much worse had it not been for that good heads-up driving by Patrick Cobb.
Yep, so under caution for our second time today. It wasn't really a case of cautions reading caution, Cisco, but now they'll be thinking, okay, we've had a quick caution, let's calm it down. And for some of these guys, that the nerves comes from the restarts. One thing that will be worth noting, Rob Reed will be on the inside for this restart. He may well be able to get that second place back from number 10 machine.
Yeah, absolutely. I talked about it on that restart, this idea of boxing out your driver. It works sort of like how it does in basketball. You jump to the inside. If you can get that inside line well, you can box these guys out. It's hard to make these corners on the outside. I mean, we just saw the 37 spin out on the outside. These cars, they don't have enough downforce to make that outside work. So if you get stuck up there, the only thing basically you would need is maybe on super old tires it would work. You know, jump to the outside, you might be able to get a better run, but honestly, right, what we're seeing on this tire degradation, you need to get to that inside here at the track, and Rob Reed's in a great position to do that. And the only downside for UK and Ireland is Jamie Fluke, who's kind of started leading that next pack of UK and Ireland drivers. He's 6th right now. He's going to start on that outside.
Yeah, he will do. But the important thing to note for that entire top 10 is that for them, it's still kind of what they need. Club Finland and Club UK and Ireland out in front. Well, we're going to get ourselves a minute to breathe and think for a moment. And I think the key thing that I'm taking out of this one so far is that DH, they are better than what we were thinking about 15 laps ago, Cisco. But the thing for me is that I think they need to have 2 drivers minimum in the top 10 to even be a factor in the road, in the overall championship by the time we get to the road course.
They do, and right now that's not working. I mean, Nobius and Newman, they're 14th and 16th, and I mean, we just talked about it. That's on the outside of the racetrack. They could lose another spot to Aaron Maspero, Marco Penentien. He could go past as well, and I mean, those cars just don't look as hooked up as what we're seeing out of these top 2 teams. I wonder, maybe just not enough in the setup, not enough downforce for what these guys are expecting or what they want.
Yeah, and talking about that bit as well, let's go to you, Jonas, for a moment. Because it seems to be, in my case, that the Finnish team car and the UK and Ireland team car both have very static pace throughout the course of the run. They don't necessarily get better, they don't necessarily get worse over the course of the run. The DH car did seem to be like a good old bottle of wine, getting a little bit better with age.
Yes, they don't have the pace early on. The interesting thing is that, for example, in Finnish example, they are running 2 different kinds of setups. Now, one is very loose in the front, one is very tight in the front. And that is a driver preference thing entirely, and it is what you are comfortable in. Now, you need to have the hot lap pace early on, the single lap brute pace, but you also need to be good at the later on in the stint. And that is where practice comes into play. Simply put, I don't think that DH were finding themselves comfortable early on in the stint, and thus decided to make a setup that works better later when there is less fuel in the car, that makes the car a little bit tighter. You can also play with the crossweight and such. Yeah. So there are multiple factors into it.
Apologies about the live timing situation. We did have to let another race finish before we could take over it again. You can view it now. Visit RaceSpot.tv/timing. Light should go out on top of the pace car right now. Too early to call this race as far as I'm concerned, Cisco, but Tim Wavening did look strong when he was out front.
Yeah, he did, and I'm not surprised at all. I mean, we've seen this caliber from Timu even in before. I mean, his performance in the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series powered by iRacing, his performance in the NASCAR iRacing Pro Series. This is a guy who understands these oval cars. We know how dangerous he is, and he right now is showing just how dangerous he is and how explosive he is on these restarts.
Okay. Lights are now off on top of the pace car. So we are going to go back to green flag running with 27 laps of this event scored complete. Any final thoughts before we go back to green, Jonas?
Well, I would just like to go back to Teemu Ivonen being an ex-NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series driver, there is also Jukka Savolainen, who is an ex-NASCAR Pro driver, granted from a bit more time back, but still Jukka Savolainen is another experienced driver, and I think there are a couple of Finns too who could be running for the Pro Series if it weren't for the time zone, so look out for the Finns. But yes, important thing to note is how well are Hannu Etupalta and Teemu Ivonen communicating on the restart. I'll just leave that thought here, communicating on the restart. That is something you should keep an eye on.
Yeah, and Cisco, I'm not going to do any predictions just yet. If 538 were here, maybe they'll do them for us, but it does look very close between two clubs. Diach still with a shot Northwest. They really need to step up.
Yeah, they really do, and as we're coming around turn 3 right now, from what I can see, they either need to make a big setup change in those cars or something, because it is just not working.
So, as we go back to green, let's experience the restart with a little bit of RaceSpot.TV fan immersion. Crazy restart, but they all survive it. And well, Cisco, Rob Reed back up into second place.
Yeah, and he did exactly what we thought he was going to do. He jumped to the inside and just basically boxed out the 91 from getting the inside there. And that's the result right there. That driver backed down into fourth, actually. It looks like he was able to pull Challenger with him, so we have a little bit of a gap right now. UK and Ireland 7th through 9th, as well as 2nd and 3rd. Finland, rest of the grid except for 10th. Nobis once again got up there and he's threatening right now. And I think Jonas and I both looked up at the booth and Aaron Maspero just had a death wish on that restart. I don't know if we saw it well.
Yeah, 3 wide. You don't often.
Can't do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can start a motor race at Indy 3 wide. Not normally at that speed, especially in a stock car, Jonas.
No, not at all. And what happened there was Marko Penttinen, car number 65, got quite a bad start. Perhaps he got a little bit of a checkup in the start, and that allowed Aaron Maspero to do that. And Aaron just went in there 3 wide and was hoping people give him room. And that gave me vibes of vintage Ayrton Senna, perhaps?
Yeah. Fantastic restart there by Aaron. He's actually up into 13th place right now, so a fantastic restart by him. Just going to show you then your moves and shakers in the field as it stands so far. And you'll notice that Alexia Loma, one driver I've been talking about quite a lot. Of course, he is a Finnish champion on both road and oval. He is up into the top 5 all of a sudden. So fantastic work that is being done by him right now. As we cycle it back a little bit, Aaron Sparrow running himself inside that top 10, well, up 20 places. So that last little restart for him really paid some big dividends, Cisco. As we're just going to step aside again, 1 second. Lap 33 of 80, Cisco back to the racing as well. Rob Reed is once again your race leader. Timo Evening falling down into P4.
Yeah, and just to report on Aaron Maspero, he's 11th now. He's gotten 2 places. He is flying right now. If he gets into that top 10, that's another driver for UK and Ireland. And that's 6 drivers. They're going to have the driver lead on Finland here. That's huge.
Yes. And we were just talking there about some of your biggest movers in the event so far. What's going on there, Jonas?
Aaron Maspero has big difficulties in turn number 2. There is a bump on the entry when you have to lift, and he just didn't quite trust the car enough, and as a result Jukka Savolainen has a run on him. Sebastian Lindqvist catching up rapidly as well, and that point you're just talking about, now Aaron Maspero's race is going to look a lot more difficult because he isn't right behind the driver of Steven Nobis anymore, he isn't right behind Matthew Dalton anymore, and all of the things have changed suddenly.
Yes, Aaron Maspero up into 11th place, but he's going to have a lot of work to do as he exits of turn number 4. You can just see that car a little bit loose on corner exit, Cisco, but it's okay. We're on board with him right now. He's been able to just hold off that press from Jukka Savolainen for a moment, but in towards turn number 1, he's not been able to make any immediate headroad on Stefan Nobis, who is back in the top 10.
And he is very lucky, Aaron Maspero, right now, because he didn't get the wall. He didn't make any contact whatsoever. That is very lucky. That doesn't happen all the time here at Indy. If you get tied off of turn 2, he got way out of the gas, maybe even used a little brake to make sure that car wasn't against the wall. But this is actually what he wants to see, side-by-side action in front of him here. His teammate just lost a position right there, Matthew Dalton. He's back to 10th right now. Stefan Nobis goes up to 9th. But Aaron Maspero is doing everything he can. But the problem is, Will, I'm worried about those tires.
Yes, tires will be a factor once again. We're into a slightly longer green flag run right now. And for these guys, tires will always be in the back of their mind. 2 Club UK and Ireland drivers, followed by 3 Finnish drivers, followed by 2 UK and Ireland drivers. It's looking good for UK and Ireland right now, but don't discount the impact of others. People like Stefan Nobis, for example, he will be taking points away from others as he moves up through the field. So even if DH aren't as a team overall going to necessarily be strong, they're top drivers. You still have to keep an eye out on them, Cisco.
Yeah, absolutely. And Aaron Maspero, he's so fast right now. But if he gets up into that top 10 and then his tires are junk, that's not going to help those guys at all. Right now, what he needs to do, he needs to take care of those tires. He needs to talk to Dalton. They got to figure out time-wise who's a little bit quicker. I think Dalton's a little bit slower right now than his teammate. If I were him, let him go on the straightaway. Don't make it too hard. And Maspero, a little bit of sparks coming off the wall there. He's really driving that car. I'd say get to the side, let your teammate go. He's fast now. Go up there, challenge that UK and Ireland driver, or that DH driver rather, and you know, get that position, because we're talking about team orders right now. You can make that pass really easily. You don't have to fight your teammate.
Alexia Loma is up into 3rd place. Alexia Loma is a driver on a mission right now. So Aloma has got himself past Timo Evening, who has really started to fall back by about 7/10 of a second. But Alexia Loma versus these 2 Club UK and Ireland drivers, this all of a sudden is fantastic to watch. This go freeway battle for the race lead, and Aloma was all forms of adjusting his wheel on the exit of 4.
Yeah, Aloma is driving the wheels off that Toyota right now, doing everything he can to stay up front. Meanwhile, Rob Reed just got his teammate in tow right now. That's the best thing they can do. Just be in the draft, take care of those tires, and block. Because this is, like we said, Aloma gets a good run out of 2, but you have to get an excellent run out of these corners if you hope to get anything done, and Aloma's just too far back right now.
Yeah, the same thing that I've been saying all race long, though, will still apply here, Cisco. In the event Aloma comes with a huge head of steam, we are only 38 laps into this event, as Aloma just back end slipping out a little bit through corner number 3. Let him pass. Don't make it too difficult for him necessarily, because what you don't want to do is ruin your own tyres and as a consequence your own race. You've got to be, in this circumstance, intelligent in your thinking. And we've got a new race leader, Rob Reed down into 2nd, 78 machine up into 1st.
And what a pass there. That was well executed. I thought they were going to be side by side going in the corner. They got it at the last minute. They minimized the time lost. They were going side by side. I think if they had done it a little bit earlier, Aloma wouldn't be quite as close as he is now. But nonetheless, it still worked. UK and Ireland still 1-2.
Yep. for the time being. But Alexia Loma is still there. They're all in one shot as they head themselves towards turn number 3 again. It's Challoner versus Reed versus Aloma. These 3 drivers, well, they were breaking away, but they're not anymore because of the fact that this passing has allowed Timo Iivonen to catch up just enough out of corner number 4 towards turn number 1. Who's Aloma going to be close enough into that first corner? He's going to just do a little half peek into that first corner, but nothing, not just yet. These 3 drivers going very hard together. But Iivonen and Hacker aren't yet out of this picture, Jonas.
They are not at all, and in fact this helps Finland tremendously now that they can get 2 really fast and really experienced guys. Eloma and Haakka, they have been about on equal pace in Finnish Oval Championships. Now they also got Teemu Iivonen joining in, who doesn't participate in the Finnish Oval Championships, but we know he is a world-class oval driver. So they got 3 strong guys against the 2 strongest guys UK and I can draw in. So UK and Ireland is gonna have to watch out for not only Alexi Eloma, but also the guys behind him. Teemu Iivonen and Tommi Haakka, they can just soon sit in the draft, change the lead of the Finnish group if they want to, and give UK and I some of their own medicine. Now I would like to also point out the big breakaway between positions number 7 and 8. You still got Sahil Mustak quite close to the lead back, but then in P number 8 you got Stefan Nobis a lot behind that leading group of 7 wheel, and also Matthew Dalton and Hannu Etupalta joining in as well. And Hannu Etupalta has been really conservative in this stint. Now he was up in the top 2 and isn't there anymore. Hannu is a very intelligent driver, so perhaps it is just his way of trying to preserve his tires and let everyone else take care of the speed right now. But I don't think Hannu calculated being this far behind early on.
Yeah, lap traffic gonna come into play. I remember this once. It was always going to be a turn number 4 JR Hildebrand moment there, I was thinking. Charlie Kimball, of course, back in the 2011 Indy 500. But it's okay, the lap driver just allowing all these people to go down on the outside in towards turn number 1. Bit of a barbecue going on pit road as well, but it's okay. We stay green just for the moment. We've now got side-by-side racing. P number 9, P number 10. Aaron Sparrow up into the top 10 for the moment. Will he be able to hold it through corner number 2? The answer to that question is going to be yes, he will. So, we've got to change then. New driver into the top 10. Number 21 machine. Still a lot of action going down in the more rear part of the field. Now, Cisco, it's hard because there is still battling going on between Diat, some of these Finnish drivers, and Northwest at the rear of the field. But because the front of the field, we've got this very tight battle. It's hard to really keep an eye on everything that's going on.
Yeah, absolutely, and as we get further and further down the pack, these guys get a little more spaced out. I mean, we have a good kind of group, kind of train of drivers going from 12th on back, Savalainen all the way back to, I believe, tail end of that group. Jake Forster just off it, but Pentensian, blah, blah, blah. I can't. Jonas, you go.
Penttinen.
There we go.
I could have done that.
All right, then you do it.
Yeah, Marco Penttinen. There we are. Job done. Move on. Carry on.
But Cornish jumping to the inside of the 95 of Sepala there, and Jared Morgan just kind of falling back right now, not where he wants to be. I mean, he's in the thick of these things, but not exactly on the lead lap. That's not really going to help these guys, and that's actually going to force the 88 offline, and that's going to allow Newman actually jump to the inside there. That's what lap traffic can do.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's going to have it blocked. He's going to have the lane blocked in front of him. He can't do anything.
Oh, that's what happens sometimes. They'll go side by side for the moment as they head themselves towards the yard of bricks. Let's go 3 wide just for the moment, but they'll be okay. They'll all get through. No real harm, no real foul. I did notice actually, you've got a Club DH driver who's showing 5th in line right now, but isn't actually 5th on the racetrack. That driver is 1 lap down. That is the number 62, number 52 machine, yeah. But Christian Seidman there is actually putting pressure on some of these Finnish drivers, and well, he's allowed to do so there, Cisco, and he's moving back forward through the field.
Yeah, not only is he doing that, Jamie Fluke just went past Tommy in that 91 car. He's up to 5th, and I'm just looking at the scorecard. Finland has 3 drivers in the top 10. UK and Ireland have...
drive on towards pit road. Sorry, going to interrupt you there. We have got Alexia Loma on towards pit road. So we knew these guys would be coming on towards pit road for fresh tyres soon. Alexei Loma has decided that he wants to do so a little bit early. He's about 2 to 3 laps early by my books there, Jonas.
He is a little bit early by my books too, but I think Alexei thought that he was losing too much time behind Rob Reed and Christian Challenger, and now they also have Christian and Silman messing up the soup a little bit, mixing the soup a little bit, so Alexei thought that it's gonna be his best decision, in his best interest, to try and do the undercut build.
Yeah, and of course, when you have so many drivers inside your top 10, you have yourself the opportunity to roll the dice of strategy a little bit. One thing that could well be Club UK Ireland's undoing in this stage in the motor race is if they don't react to what Club Finland are doing. As they exit corner number 4, some of these drivers, worth noting, I don't really see anyone else coming in just yet. Sometimes, Cisco, you'll get one, in this circumstance, you get one driver to go out there and almost scare the others into submission. No one blinked in retaliation.
And that could be trouble. The only thing is not many more Finland drivers have come in yet. So right now, UK and Ireland safe. If all the Finland drivers peel off or something like that, or if they peel off to go to the pits, they need to answer that, because otherwise, you know, Alexei Loma is going to be, you know, 5 seconds ahead. That's how crucial fresh tires are here. They can't get caught out if the rest of the team decides to pit. They need to respond at some point. We know pit road's coming soon, and it looks like everything's calmed down. I think we'll be seeing in the next few laps here.
Yeah, there's confirmation of the pit stop there for Alexei Loma. 13.8, 45.8 seconds on the lane. Pretty much exactly what we expect from these drivers, Jonas. It is worth noting that getting on towards pit road can be a little bit tough there. You've got to be very quick on the brakes out of 4.
Yes, you have to be very careful and very quick on the brakes out of coming into the pit road, but also coming out of the pit road. You got that narrow pathway with no banking, and these drivers are penalized if they go over on the racetrack before coming out of turn number 2 wheel. So it's gonna be very interesting to see who handles that the best as well. Alexei Loma, we know he's also good on the pit stops, one of the aspects of the oval driving as well. Now, another thing I should note is that Alexei Loma pitted pretty much exactly as early as he could while still making it on fuel. So we are expecting the optimal strategy to not be the one that Eloma is running right now. I think he's a bit of a hare right now. They are putting him out in front in anticipation of the upcoming pit stops, and then let's see how he can roll from there. He is doing a long final stint, but it should be within the fuel window.
Yeah, we just saw a very close battle there between Daniel Newman and Jerzy Pana. In towards your first corner they go again. There's about 2 or 3 attempts to get down to the inside a moment ago, Cisco. By that number 95 Club Finland machine, wasn't able to do so. We go back on board of him though. On the exit of turn number 2 once again, and he can't get the run this time.
No, he can't, and I was just thinking, Will, UK and Ireland are in an interesting spot here. A lot of these teams are. If they all decide to come down pit road, they can force the hand of everyone else.
Yeah.
UK and Ireland has a lot more drivers out there. I think they have that advantage. They could kind of pull a fast one on these guys. Come down pit road now. They should be good to pit road. And speaking of which, one car down pit road right now.
Yeah, we have. That is your race leader on towards pit road then. So Christian Callender is going to come on towards pit road. He will make what should be, if it stays green, his final stop of the day. 60 miles an hour on pit road. Seems like an eternity at times. In towards his pit stall he will come. We did also see Zapata was losing a lot of positions there. He fell down into about the 3rd spot. It was 14th. He's back up into 13th because of the pit stop for your race leader. But he just went wide in turn 3 there, Jonas. And that's the thing with that stage again with these tyres. If you are just about 6 inches off of the racing line coming into a corner here, you've blown the corner. You're going to lose about half a second.
Yeah, you've blown the corner, and in here in Indy, as you know, as Cisco already knows very well, you have to be very accurate on the racing lines, and that might not be Jere Seppälän's strength necessarily, as I know him as a driver, but he is a battler through and through. He will battle to the end, and he will show these UCAN guys to the end what exactly is Jere Seppälä made of. Not quite yet, perhaps, as we see a very late dive in from Ian Cornish, almost passing Sebastian Lindqvist into turn number 1, and the pit stops are also coming into the play. So I'm expecting Seppälä not start battling quite yet, but this is the situation where he can improvise, where he can be an opportunist that he really shines in. 2
drivers out front, Rob Reed, Timo Even, and then it's a gap to Jamie Fluke, Sahil Mustak, is going side by side with Tommy Hacker through corner number 3. 30 laps to go at the line. Just thinking back to Alexei Aloma, actually been praising him all day long. It's worth noting that he came within about 2 laps of winning an iRacing Indianapolis 500 a couple of years ago, Cisco. Possibly the cruelest way he lost it in the history of the Indy 500. Also, but this guy knows this racetrack. I've seen him, I've raced with him at this track quite often in both Indy cars and stock cars. This is a track that you either get it or you don't so often. It's not like a Texas, it's not like a Charlotte. You've got to make sure that you kind of understand the track, every millimetre of it. That bump, for example, on the way into turn 3, that bump on the way in towards turn 1, that bump coming out of pit road. And you've got to get it all right, otherwise you're not going to have a good race there.
It's a bit kind of like learning to drive a road course versus what we would see in oval, just because of, you know, you have 4 distinct corners versus kind of the banking and what we usually see, especially in these NASCAR.
Step aside for a moment, back in a minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Drivers are on pit road. Rob Reed, Timo Evenen, Jamie Fluke, all in at the same time, Cisco.
Yeah, and this is your top 3 drivers in the track. Mustek still stays out right now, but Alexei Aloma, he's moving up the pack. He's up to 5th now. This is what happens. He cycled his way back up. He's got those fresh tires. He's moving. Now he's up to 2nd, actually being shown on the board. He's going to get past. He has better tires. We know Mustek still has to pit. So for Alexei Aloma right near now, he's fighting those tires because he had the advantage, but now these guys are just going to be catching him. If he can hold on to that car for the rest of the race, he brings home your checkered flag.
And we are thinking that maybe Alexei Aloma is just a little bit light on gas. We think about 1.5 laps to 2 laps. A caution will help him, of course, but he will need some form of yellow. And yellows have been hard to come by, surprisingly hard to come by at this event here today, as Sahil Mustak will now come on towards pit road. So there we can see he's led. He will be classified as leading 1 lap. But Cisco, he's now on the lane.
Yep, and basically that's going to allow Loma to take over that lead, but everyone came down to the pits together. That's going to kind of minimize that flip-flop that I thought we were going to see. Stefan Nobis, not sure if he's hit the pit road yet. It doesn't look. If he has, then he's done a great job. William Fletcher, I believe, also still needs to, and it looks like he's just hit pit road right now. So the lineup's trying to figure itself out right now, and this is going to be very interesting from what the numbers I'm seeing right now.
Alexia Loma is classified with a 9-second advantage as it stands right now. But that will come down pretty quickly because of the fact that Christian Calendar will be catching him up now that Christian is on much fresher tyres. So, 8.7 seconds is the gap. Out of corner number 4, on board with Christian. The corner number 4, it just seems to be the back end of those cars are sliding about Cisco every time we go on board with a driver. Just about enough that these guys can hold on to it.
Yeah, and you know, that does kind of help load the car going into these corners we talked about before. You kind of need that back end a little bit loose there to make sure you can turn into these corners. They're really sharp versus what we're used to seeing a little bit.
We've got smoke on the racetrack. We've got a lot of smoke on the racetrack. Whether or not this is going to be clear, whether or not we're going to get a caution or not, that is a Northwest driver, Jared Morgan, he was just saying, on pit road, on the exit lane.
He's going to pass Connery Maddock there on the access.
Is Maddock out of fuel?
Is Marian Hensel also out of fuel?
Oh, you see, it's little mistakes like this. Yeah, he's out of fuel. It's little mistakes like this that can cost any of these clubs the shot at the World Cup. Get your fuel numbers right, people. We've got... It's a weird situation when you see a driver whose engine's expired, cruising past them that's run out of fuel. And for Club UK and Ireland, well, that means that Jake Forster now comes back into play for that team. Every point Matt has shown us, these guys should not be making mistakes like this.
No, not at all. They should have calculated their fuel correctly, and I don't think you can really save much when you go 1 lap overdue on fuel. So that's a bit of a silly mistake to make, to be honest, and it's something I hope none of the Finnish guys make. Now, my Finnish bias is showing here, yes, but it's something that you just don't want to do.
Yeah, it's something that a lot, especially I know Yoni Batman, club captain, would be classifying as inexcusable. And if it comes down to a very close finish overall, Cisco, remember what we just saw there with Connery Maddock.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to you, Jonas, on this one, because you know, Alexia Loma, he saw those cars out of gas on pit road. Do you think he, maybe even for a second just thought, am I okay on gas? What do you think's going through the mind of that driver right now?
Probably just go through the corners as fast as possible and worry about the strategy later, if I know anything about Alexia Loma. Right now he's fully focused on driving. He knows the situation probably better than anyone else, and he also knows what he is going to do. Now there are two things he can do. He either thinks he can save a little bit more fuel than he initially anticipated. Maybe he was calculating them after his first stop, thinking, okay, I can actually do it, I can save fuel. Maybe he was actually saving fuel on the first stint behind those two UK and I cars. Because I don't see him going to do one more stop. I don't think it's gonna work.
No, I mean, a stop will drop him down to about 30th place, around where, ironically, Connery Maddock is right now. And I would say, I know Alexia Loma as well. He's probably just thinking, oh look, there's a corner coming up, and he starts turning the wheel at some point. We'll talk about this in between races. I will say, I have beaten Alexia Loma in a race once, but it did end up being a fuel mileage race, so bear that one in the back of your mind. Matthew Dalton versus Timo Ivonen right now. 0.2 of a second separating these two drivers. It continues to be, even after green flag pit stops, the Club Finland versus the Club UK and Ireland show, as Matthew Dalton is side by side with Jamie Fluke, his own teammate's about to pass him.
It looks like Matthew Dalton just threw the anchor out the rear end of the car because he just lost 2 spots there in about the span of half a lap. So not sure what's going on with that 54 machine, but those tires are screaming off that car right now, and something is up with that 54. Yeah,
Matthew Dalton. Well, we have seen him give a place to a teammate before, but of course we wouldn't want to give positions unnecessarily to Club Finland. So we'll keep an eye out then on Matthew Dalton, currently running in 9th place. Alexia Loma leads the way right now, but the gap has come down substantially. And look at the lap times there. Last time by for Alexia Loma, 53.1. Last time by for Christian Kalina, 52.3. That is the difference between new tyres, newest tyres, and old tyres showing us.
It is the difference indeed, and Alexia Loma right now, he knows that he is fighting an uphill battle. He is looking at those laps. You still got 19 laps coming over the line, and the gap is down to 5.8 seconds last time by. So, we are going to have to go to calculations. Now, let's see what he did last time by. Christian Challenger, the gap was 5.1 seconds right now, so he is a lot faster than Alexia Loma. And if it goes this way, he will catch him before the race ends. But the situation is this: Alexia Loma was third coming into the pit lane. He made an early stop, and right now he is finding himself in the first place, perhaps allowing Christian Challenger to pass him, but nobody else. You got the train of Stefan Nobis, Rob Reed, Tommi Hahka, and Aaron Maspero as well, and they are the next drivers coming at them. They will not catch up to Alexia Loma.
Just to let you know, Stefan Nobles is going to lose third place momentarily to Rob Reed. Nobles is the sole DH driver who's been able to penetrate into the top 10, and he's almost going to lose another position there to the number 91 of Tommi Hahka. Let's go on board with that driver of Tommi Hahka out of corner number 4. And yeah, Hacker's going to get that one pretty much immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, coming soon to iRacing, it will be the 6th annual iRacing Pro Racer Champions. It will be on December 14th here on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacingLive. Join myself and Evan Pasoko, who of course is the lead broadcaster for the NASCAR Peak Anti-Free Series, as we get some real-life racers onto the iRacing service to have a bit of fun and raise some money for the Justin Wilson Children's Fund. That'll be December 14th, right here on RaceSpotTV.
Oh, car in the wall, car in the wall.
That is a DH. Is that Stefan Nobles?
No, it's Patrick Kopp.
Oh.
Patrick Kopp from P number 32.
He did save it. I mean, if that car just twitched the wrong way, that would have been race over, and that would have been welcome to Caution City, as there was almost a tag with a finish driver. Kopp does carry on there, but he's going to be worrying a little bit in towards corner number 1 this time by here, Jonas.
It is going to be very worrying, and I was actually, it looked like to me that there was initial contact. Perhaps a bit of netcode coming into play, but there was contact because Kopp's car just had a little bit of damage from that contact with Teemu Iivonen, number 99. And if there is any damage to the front of Teemu's car, then he is going to be royally pissed off right now. Yeah,
as we've just got word there that Jared Morgan might have got a penalty for something. Keep an eye out on that one. Your top 5, Christian Kalina still is now your race leader because Alexia Loma has made himself another pit stop by the looks of it. Yes, he has. So Alexia Loma has made himself another pit stop down in towards P21. He goes there, Cisco. Weird.
All right, I get. Maybe he figured, you know, just cash it in now. The strategy wasn't going to work. Not really sure what the call was for that. But as a result, we look at it, 2 Finland drivers in the top 10, 2 DH drivers in the top 10. Everyone else, UK, Ireland.
Yeah. So there is Alexia Loma. There's confirmation of his pit stop as well. 13.7, 44.8 on the lane overall. That means that right now it is Christian Kalina who leads away from Rob Reed. Tommi Hahka is in 3rd place. Stefan Nobles in 4th. And Teemu Iivonen rounding out your top 5. We're going to have to do some research here, Cisco. Where is your top place Northwest driver right now?
John Brightsman, 15th spot right now.
So
16th, just 16th. The last one.
Yep, 17th, just losing a position and another position there. In Cornish and Harry Tiller have just both got past.
Oh, he's going to jump to the inside now.
Yeah. Oh, side by side there out of corner number 4. They stay side by side and run down in towards turn number 1 just for the moment's time. Number 46 machine there, trying to give a little bit of Northwest pride right now, but they really have been outpaced in this event so far, Jonas, which is a shame, because last year Northwest did a fantastic job. They did a fantastic job in the qualifiers as well.
Yes, and I'm surprised how far they are off pace in the oval side. I was expecting them to be a strong challenger. Now, granted, UK and I has been the real, well, not a surprise, they're always strong. And Finland considered them to be the strongest challengers coming into this event, when we heard from club captain Matthew Dalton as well that they are going to be strong. But I was expecting Northwest to be a more of a force than an also run as they seem to be right now.
We've got ourselves less than 15 laps of this event to go. Daniel Newman running himself in P number 6 as it stands right now. As we've got Petri Kotovara versus Daniel Newman. That is Finland versus Diaz going on right now. They're separated by about 0.3 of a second as they work themselves through corner number 2 once again. Let's go on board and have a look from the rear of Petri Kotovara to Daniel Newman. 13 laps to go at the line, Cisco.
13 laps to go, and the shift is once again, looks like it's going in Finland's favor now. 4 drivers in the top 10. They've taken over 9th and 10th like we've been seeing. UK and Ireland, they're down to 5 drivers. I mean, they have the top 2 cars, but I mean, it's starting to go back the other way. And Stefan Novus, the sole DX driver in the top 10 at the moment.
Yeah. And of course, what we'll do in between this and the road race, we'll get ourselves an indication of the point before we head ourselves to the road event, which will start taking place in about half an hour's time. So at least we don't have to spend too long blabbering on about nothing. There's your race leader. Worth noting, the gap has come down over the last couple of laps here, Jonas. Maybe Christian pushed his tyres too hard, too quickly. Rob Reed is on the move.
Rob Reed is really on the move, and we know him. He was the pole sitter for this race, remember. He was the fastest qualifier. Another guy, I don't want to steal Rob's spotlight right now, but Alex Yeloma, as expected, is also on the move, and I'm looking at his lap times. He's 2 seconds faster than your race leader right now. Granted, he has long way to go, but 26 seconds, what we got, about 12 laps to go? No, it's not possible. He will not catch them unless there is another yellow and he will stay out. I think that is one of the strategies that was in Alex Yeloma's mind. Now, back to Rob Reed. Remember, Challenger has been running alone his whole stint. He has suffered from understeer as a result. He is not as fast as Rob Reed is right now. 53.4 versus the 52.7 from Rob Reed, 52.9 from Tommi Haakka, and 52.7 from Teemu Iivonen as well. So they are catching up to your race leader rapidly, and I would say at this stage, as we also got Chad and Barker from P number 40 coming into the pit lane out of your picture, I would say it's not over yet.
It's not. And if we get a caution in the last 10 laps of this event, then that will be something certainly to think about. We're going to step aside just one more time, ladies and gentlemen, to make sure we don't miss anything at the end. We'll be back in 90 seconds. Back live. See a battle for the race lead between two Club UK and Ireland drivers. Christian Callinan leads away, Rob Reed just behind. The key thing now will be, Cisco, for these two drivers is to make sure they don't get passed by Timo Ivonen in the last stages of this event.
And time's running down for that, Will. I mean, 6 laps to go, I believe, at the line here. And it's, no, 7 laps going to be left to go. Temu's fast. Is he that fast? I don't know. I mean, it's a two and about half a second gap. 2.7 at the line that time for Teemu Ivonen. So it's gonna be close, Will. I don't think he's gonna get to the lead, but if he can even get to second place, valuable points up for grabs right there.
Yeah, we are aware. We've just lost some sound, ladies and gentlemen. We do apologise for this. But Jonas, in terms of this right now, Timo Ivonen is catching 2.1 seconds back as it stands.
Yes, Teemu Ivonen is very, very rapidly catching up, and also both Rob Reed and Christian Challenger are right now having to battle some lap traffic in form of 2 Northwest drivers, Wayne Hutchinson and Ray Partridge as well. Now, they are going to come up back end first against Teemu Ivonen and Tommi Hahka as well. Now, I'm also noting that Tommi Hahka isn't quite able to keep up to Teemu Ivonen. Teemu is going really fast right now, and here is the lead change.
Okay, we've got the lead change then. Rob Reed versus Christian Challenger. Here they go in towards turn number 1. We have a new race leader. It is Rob Reed, as we've got ourselves 6 laps to go. 6 laps to go here. Give us just 2 seconds. We're just going to stick it as it is. We do apologise for the audio issues that we have going on right now. But as it stands, Rob Reed leads this motor race. Christian Challenger in second place right now. Timo Ivonen, 1.4 seconds back. It's all hotting up here, Cisco.
Yes, it is. They head down towards turn 3 right now. Teemu Ivonen, he's closing. Does he have enough time? We just don't know yet.
Yep, so here we are then. We've got ourselves 5.5 laps to go, Cisco. Talk us through a lap as we ride ourselves on board with Timo Ivonen.
Closing is that 99 as he comes down the long front straightaway. He'll start to be able to sniff a draft soon off that 78 car in front of him. Teemu Ivonen comes down past the yard bricks, down to turn 1 right here. He's got the museum on his left side, out of the shadows of the front grandstand. Got a great run through there. He's going to apex out of that corner, onto the short chute between 1 and 2, back down in the corner, hits the apex just perfectly. Got to make sure apex that corner as you come out to get on that long back straightaway right now. This is where the draft comes into play. He's still not close enough, but he's 1 or 2 laps away from being able to sniff a draft after that 78. That's going to be the key here as he heads back down to turn 3. Apex, once again, right off the curb right there as he comes down onto the short chute here between 3 and 4. Final time, he's going to have to make turn 4 on this lap here. Clips the apex just right. Make sure don't get on that white curb. You don't have to. Apex out of the corner, and that's a lap here in Indianapolis Motor
And
Speedway.
he's got the gap down to just 9 tenths of a second right now. It's 9 tenths of a second between P2 and P1. Well, realistically, what Christian Callaghan can do here is if he can just hold Ivonen up for a lap or so, that might guarantee the win to Rob Reed. The important thing will be to make sure that you don't get yourselves into a wreck here, because the point that you get for finishing second or third, it's worth so much more than what you'd get from anything else. We are down then to just 3 laps to go at the line here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Still a lot to play for. Your top 8 at the bottom of your screen right now, as we are going to have to step aside just 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. We do apologise. We do apologise for some of the issues we've been having, ladies and gentlemen. They are out of our control. Rob Reed is leading the way. Timo Evenen in second place. Christian Challenger in third place. Jamie Fluke in fourth. Sahil Mustak in fifth place. Towards the start-finish line will come the driver of Rob Reed. He will take the checkered flag here for Club UK and Ireland in just 1 moment's time. Rob Reed is going to be your winner here in terms of the first event, and it is really going to come down to 2 clubs when all is said and done. There is the driver of Rob Reed. As well, Cisco, what a crazy, crazy race it's been. We are continuing to have a couple of issues here, but walk us through some of the results.
Yeah, Rob Reed's going to bring home your victory. UK and Ireland get first and get through third through fifth, but we're going to actually, if we have time, we're going to do a full field rundown right now, Jonas. And Rob Reed going to bring home your victory here for UK and Ireland. Teemu Ivanen, who's going to bring it home second. Third going to go to Christian Challenger. Fourth is going to go to Jamie Fluke. Sahil Mustak is going to finish fifth. Tomi Haka is going to finish sixth. Seventh going to go to Stefan Nobis. Alexi Eloma is going to finish eighth. Ninth going to go to Aaron Maspero. And 10th is Edu Palta. He's going to finish 10th.
Yes, and Petteri Kotovara finishing in 11th position ahead of Ian Cornish, Daniel C. Neumann in 13th, ahead of Matthew Dalton, Jukka Savolainen, Jere Seppälä, Marko Penttinen, Harry Tiller, Simo Leppänen, and Sebastian Lindqvist rounding out your top 20. So we got all the Finnish drivers in the top 20 and 10 runners through the rest of our field.
Yeah, the rest of the field here will, I mean, there's no other way to say this. No Club Finland drivers past that point. 21st, Mark Wyneck. 22nd, Chris Beck, Christian Starko. 23rd, 24th, Sean Breitzman. 25th, Wayne Hutchinson. 26th, William Fletcher. Drew Lalonde is going to finish 27th. Mike Notzelman is going to finish 28th. Christian M. Seelman is going to finish 29th. 30th going to go to Florian Oates. Roman Walter is the last car that was out there in the, I believe, the lead lap. 32nd going to go to Patrick Kopp, who was off track. Connery Maddock, 33rd. 34th is going to go to Marion Hensel. Jake Forrester, 35th. 36th going to go to Ricky Bozer. Ray Partridge, 37th. 38th, Jared Morgan. Mark Waltz is going to finish, Mark Wall is going to finish 39th. 40th going to go to Chad Barker.
And you know what I said earlier on, Cisco, about Connery Maddock running out of fuel and that situation that was happening with him? Well, 2 Club UK and Ireland drivers in the 31 to 40 range. That is something that could well be important. And I'm just going to show you that top part of the field once again. Yes, 4 Club UK and Ireland drivers inside your top 5. But that last driver of Connery Maddock could still be a difference maker.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, we talk about that, and also Club DH not having the run they want. They have 4 drivers, 28th through 31st. 2 drivers were not able to make it to the checkered flag from that team. Club Northwest, equally not a lot of luck. 4 drivers for them weren't able to make it to the end of this thing. That's huge as we head towards the road section of this race.
Yeah, so as it stands right now, it is still a case of it being all to play for, but between 2 clubs right now. They are Club UK and Ireland and Club Finland. Well, we are going to get a word of a couple of people in a moment's time. Hopefully, we'll get a word with Yoni Backman. We'll get a word with, hopefully, Matthew Dalton as well, who's club tapped him for Club UK and Ireland. Want to also see if we can get a word with Mike Holloway, who, of course, is the World Cup organizer for this year. Once again, a fantastic job that those guys have done. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, we do apologise for some of the issues that's affected our coverage of the oval side of things, especially in the last couple of laps. They are partially things outside of our control. We do apologise. We know so many people wanting to watch a good show here today, but we have still got the road coverage to come. That in itself, Cisco, is going to be a fantastic event.
Absolutely. We're heading back to Spa. That's going to be an amazing race here. And Will, I mean, talk about just a points battle. I can't really call it right now. We'll have to take a look at the points to see what's up. But right now, UK and Ireland did very well in the top 10, but like you said, they had a couple drivers drop out. That could pay huge dividends for the rest of these teams as we head towards the road section.
Yeah, I'm just doing the math in my head, Jonas. It's going to be very close between Finland and Club UK and Ireland, partially because of that Connery Maddox situation, finishing so far down the field, and also the fact that Jake Forster finishing down the field as well for Club UK and Ireland. It's going to be, in my opinion, within about 25 points.
It is going to be within 21 points now. I'm hearing a word. This is not confirmed yet, but I'm hearing a word that Finland would actually be 11 points ahead, and I'm slightly surprised, but not entirely, because you need to finish the race. And let's remember that all of the Finnish drivers, the entire 10-man squad, finished within the top 20. So our last drivers were Simo Leppänen and Sebastian Lindqvist. And as per UK and I, we heard about the Conor Maddox situation, Jake Forster as well. So that is going to pay dividends for Club Finland, giving that little bit of a leeway going into the roadside, Will.
Yeah, and every point matters, and it might come down to that later on. Diach not having themselves a good day here today, Cisco. We did hear in the qualifiers about the fact that they've been having some issues in terms of management, etc. They got themselves through the qualifiers, but they haven't really shown up here today.
And I think that comes down to, we saw how just the setup wasn't quite right for those guys. And I think, Will, that might have been what cost it. Those cars didn't look too hooked up. Driving talent, you know, we talk about guys, you know, Stefan Nobi's 5,700 I rating. I mean, the guy knows how to wheel a car. That showed 4,100 I rating. Daniel Newman, those guys know how to drive these oval cars, but just not a good showing for Diach there. And I think that just came down to the team not getting the setup the way they wanted.
Right, we're going to head ourselves over to Spa. Back in a few minutes. Let's get ourselves ready. Actually, no. We'll talk for a moment, a couple more moments first, just to make sure that we spend as little time away from you guys. Northwest. Let's finish off with Northwest here, Jonas. Again, they haven't done fantastically on this one, but they have got a pretty good roadside. Don't discount them in terms of taking points away from others just yet. And that's the thing now for both Diach and Northwest. They're not going to necessarily win the World Cup of iRacing, but they can be a factor in who does win.
They can be a very big factor, and these are the so-called, these are not random factors, but these are the factors you have to make sure are put into the calculations as they are made. You are not just racing against, it is not just Finland versus UK and Ireland, although realistically for the win right now it is, but they are not the only ones out there on the racetrack. We will see 40 cars out there on the racetrack, and you need to make sure that not only do you beat your opponents, but you have to also make sure that not too many drivers from Diach or Northwest take points away from you. That is going to be crucial to the victory. And Spa-Francorchamps, it is a track that all of the drivers on the roadside should know pretty well, especially with the GT1 cars. They know the layout, but who has the best setup, who has done the best work on practice, who has the ultimate pace. It's going to be an absolutely epic, I know that word has been overused a lot, but an epic showdown of historical proportions between Finland and UK and Ireland for the World Cup glory. Will it be Finland for the third time? Will it be UK and I for the first time? I know they're hungry, they want it, and let's see if they got the effort that they can take it. But don't count out DH drivers nor Northwest drivers just yet.
So here we are then. After what has been a good oval race, we now head ourselves in a moment to the roadside. That'll be here on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacingLive in just a few moments' time. from the Cathedral of Speed, that was the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we now head ourselves to the Ardennes Mountains, to Circuit Spa-Francorchamps, to one of the homes and the pinnacles of Grand Prix and endurance racing, for what will be a 15-minute race to determine who will be the 2016 World Cup of iRacing champions. And it realistically is down to two clubs, Club Finland or Club UK and Ireland. Will Vincent still here with Cisco Scaramuza and Yunus Purka as we're now here at Spa-Francorchamps to change of pace, but these GT1 cars are beasts, Cisco.
Absolutely. The supersonic jet got us here in no time at all, Will. And we're here at Spa-Francorchamps, probably one of the most challenging courses on the Grand Prix circuit, but also a track that's loved by so many of these drivers.
Jonas, two teams, both of them are very good at this car track combination.
It's been an absolutely amazing show to watch so far, and yes, indeed, they are both very good. I know personally Finland will be good. Will UK and Ireland be strong enough to challenge? I just don't know, but their lineup, I'm just looking at through their lineup, and Sebastian Schopp, Jamie Rushford, Isaac Price, Rob Reed doing the double duty, Jamie Fluke doing the double duty as well. They got so many good drivers. I'm honestly, well, I want to see a good race, but I'm a bit scared.
Yeah, same. We're going to get a word in a moment's time with Joni Backman, who's the club captain for Club Finland. Don't forget, you can be a part of our coverage here on RaceSpotTV. Follow us at Twitter, RaceSpotTV, Facebook.com/RaceSpotTV as well. Joni Backman is here now from Club Finland. Joni, one down, one to go. You guys are right in the mix of what is realistically now a two-horse race.
Yeah, it appears so. It's going to be tight.
What do you guys need to do? And of course, it's going to be obvious. You're going to say win the race. But what do you think you need to do in terms of your depth of field? Because you didn't get a driver outside of the top 20 in the ovals. Do you think that's achievable also on this road course?
It has to be if we want to beat the UK. They really have done everything according to what they should do, and I don't expect anything but like the best possible performance for them. So I think, yeah, we have to have pretty much 9 drivers in the top 15 if we want to have a chance of winning this.
And in terms of, therefore, things like incidents, for example, are you telling you guys to do heads-up driving? Are you telling them to go for the win? What's the overall game plan?
It depends on where the UK guys are, but internally we're gonna pace ourselves. But yeah, we have to race.
Thank you very much there, Joni Backman. Before we let you go, any words you want to say and finish?
Torilla tavata.
Joni Backman there, club captain for Club Finland. Well, Cisco, we've got ourselves about 10 minutes until we head ourselves to qualifying. And I think, really, Diach is the equaliser here in terms of the fact that I do think Diach will show up and be strong at this event. And that means that, A, you can't get yourself into incidents because they're going to hurt you even more here than they would have done on the oval side. And secondly, what you can't do is get yourself into one-on-one battles. You've got to think big picture.
Yeah, you do, and I am very happy to see the Corvette getting some love here in the World Cup. This is honestly my favorite road car to drive out of everything, and this is going to be a really interesting race because, I mean, we're looking at the standings right now. Tobias Soltau leads right now in practice out of the Diach camp. He's 8th right now on the board. You got a lot of Finland drivers, not a lot of UK-Ireland drivers. I mean, they haven't had laps yet, and a lot of them are still coming into this, but at the moment, Finland has basically got a lockout right now on the top 10 in practice. Right,
we have got points on the board. Northwest 181 points, Club Diach 321. Club UK and Ireland 627, Finland 638. And yes, and I feel so bad for Connery Maddock, the fact that we keep on iRacing on this one, Cisco. It's because of Connery Maddock. Now, I don't know whether he had another incident after he ran out of fuel or what happened with that one, but we did see him slow on the escape road. We are assuming he was out of fuel based upon the engine noises we could hear.
Or lack thereof.
Yes. But if that is the case and it's down to fuel, that's going to be a heartbreaking situation for him, because it is literally at the moment 11 points in it.
Yeah, and oh man, I mean, for it to come down like that, I mean, that means these guys are going to have to try that much harder here, Will. And well, it's I'm looking at, you know, we got an hour race here. This is, I mean, you know, maybe it's the sort of thing where it might, in a way, kind of scare this UK-Ireland team, play it safe on the fuel. And that's probably not a bad thing to do at Spa. I mean, we're talking about one of the longest circuits on the Grand Prix course, of 4.35-mile circuit here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. And for these guys, if you run out of fuel here, you're doomed. I mean, this is a almost 4.5-mile track, Will. You run out of gas halfway through this lap, you're not going back to pit road. You don't get that lucky like you do on the ovals. Indy's a long racetrack. It's hard to, you know, get back to pit road. Luckily, Connery's as lucky as he did where he was able to get back to pit road. But if you do it here at Spa, you're doomed.
Yeah. I think, well, to be fair, if you run out around Puan, you can just about try and coast it home. But it's a tough ask there, Jonas. Realistically, you've got to have to be at the exit of Blanchimont in order to make it really to the end of the lap. Especially because people forget that bus stop chicane is a bit more uphill than people give it credit for.
It is very much uphill, and you just can't afford to have other driver, even if it's clubmate, to push you unless he is out of the contention. So if you're gonna run out of fuel, it's going to be over. That's why fuel strategy is going to be crucial here. Now, at the leaderboards here at the practice, we got still 8 minutes left on the practice. Joni Takanen has just put in the fastest lap time of 2:13.0, ahead of Isaac Price with a 2:13.2, but fuel strategy is coming back to those. I think at least a lot of drivers have those already planned ahead, and I think a lot of clubs, we're going to see them pitting on the very same lap, because there is one optimal strategy that you can run on this track, and one only.
Can I have a quick word with Connery Maddock from Club UK and Ireland? Connery, set the record straight. What happened?
Yeah, I did not run out of fuel. As I said on the broadcast, I actually got into a little bit of an incident with a lapped car, which popped the engine. So
that's why we couldn't hear an engine. Okay, so how gutted must you be feeling right now that incident's the difference between Club UK and Ireland leading and not leading this event?
It hurts really much. It hurts a lot, and there's nothing really I could have done about it looking at the incident. So it's tough, but I have faith in our road drivers. I have faith that they can pull out a good result here.
Well, thanks for the heads up and thanks for the clarification there, Connery Maddock, for Club UK and Ireland. Well, that's it. The record straight there, Cisco.
Yeah, and not a very happy Connery Maddock, and honestly, that's one of those feelings. I've been in that before, that situation, and it happens a lot on the oval side, where something just happens in front of you, and even if you have the best brakes in the world, there's nothing you can do to stop it, and it's just one of those moments. And even for me, it happened to me in a championship scenario, and I was fighting for the championship, and it happened. It's just one of those things where you feel it's not as bad as like running out of gas, because, you know, that could be like a, well, I kind of did that to myself, that sort of thing. There's a little bit of blame for yourself, but it's one of those incidents that's just, you feel just so out of control in that moment, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's such a sinking feeling.
Yeah, we've got Matt Dalton here as well for Club UK and Ireland. Well, Matt, 11 points in it right now. One incident's the difference between you leading this and not leading this, but this is as close as you've ever been to a World Cup championship.
Well, I'm waiting for some clarification on that, because my understanding was it was the top 9 from 10 that count, which would actually put us in front. But I'm waiting to hear on that. So
either fine. I don't know. I'm just trying to work out the math.
Yeah, that would put us about 30-40 points in front. So I'm waiting for clarification on that. But nevertheless, yeah, sort of job done. Jake's internet provider. We're gonna shoot them, execution by anti-aircraft gun for them. So that not a lot we can do about that. Connery a little bit unlucky. I'm kicking myself in the backside for dropping 2 spots, but also patting myself on the back for keeping out of the wall.
Right. We have actually got an update. I'm going to drop it right now. So we have got an update. Northwest 181 points, DH 121 points, Finland for it 597 points, Club UK and Ireland 627. So let's ask that question again. You're now 30 points ahead heading into the road event.
Yeah.
After further review,
yeah, we've done everything we can on the oval. The guys did an amazing job. They've worked really hard all week, and not just the guys in the session, but guys in the club, you know, have turned up, pounded laps. I was off on Thursday all day, doing practice. We were in a practice session for 9 hours on Thursday, and we had like 13, 14 people in there. I mean, you know, there's nothing more you can ask of anybody in the club for this. We've given it our absolute everything. We are down a couple on the roadside at the minute. Unfortunately, one is unavailable for family reasons, which is a bit of a shame. And Alex has lost his headset's fallen apart, so that's knackered that one. But it's all right because he said he was slow anyway. So yeah, nerves are shot to hell. Just gotta sit through the road now. I'm gonna get a glass of whiskey, sit down. You know, we can't have given it anything else. We can't have done any more.
Yeah, and it's worth noting, actually, I'm going to ask you this question as well. There's only 2 World Championship drivers, World Championship licensed drivers in this field, Isaac Price and Yeno Tamano. Of course, there are others who have raced or may well be racing in the World Championship Series. That's a big thing, the fact that you've not just got a load of people with their black stripes running in this event. You know, it does seem to be the guys that have done the hard work all year long are going to be the ones putting it on the line.
Yeah, we did have Graham Carroll was going to race for us, but couldn't, unfortunately. Obviously, he's had a massive opportunity to go over to Formula E in Marrakesh. Yeah. And, you know, that's a kind of lifetime opportunity, only comes up once. And much as I was trying to nail him to the floor and not let him get on the plane, I was told that perhaps that was not necessarily fair. So, you know, we're missing him. We've got Seb Joe, we've got Dave Williams, you know, Isaac Price. These guys have all rocked up. You know, but again, with the roadside, you cannot praise highly enough the likes of Alex Millwood, Simon Maltby, Paul Thurston, Fraser Williamson, Connery Maddock, Aaron Rispero, people who turned up in the qualifiers in the second round to run. Those guys are why we're here now, and anybody who's in that team out there represents them and the entire club, and I cannot speak highly enough for the effort from everybody.
Final question before we let you go. How important do you think the DX drivers are going to be in terms of taking points away from you and the Finnish drivers?
Based on last year, massively. So please, 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 DH, don't take out of all of us in the first corner this time around, please. Please, and you know, you can all come to Cardiff next year and I'll buy you a beer as well. Yeah, they're going to be massive. It's, you know, it's the same in F1 with Rosberg, and, you know, needs a bit of help, and those guys can be huge, or they might not be, or we just don't know. But I've said the same to the guys in the road as I have with the oval. Drive your own race, do your best, enjoy it. Wherever we finish, whatever happens, we've given it everything this year, and we can't have asked more than that.
Well, thank you very much, Matthew Dalton there for Club UK and Ireland. Thank you very much for joining us. Qualifying is almost here.
Yeah, we got 15 minutes and 4 laps that these drivers can do, and looking at the lap times right now, it looks quite good from the Finnish perspective. Takanen still in the lead, Tommi Haakka third, Haapanen, Alatalo, Nurmi, Hagner, Törmälä, and then Marcel Fassbender and Sebastian Job rounding out your field. Not to forget to mention Isaac Price in 3rd place as well. But qualifying is a different beast entirely. Now, we also had a last-minute substitution in the Finnish roster. Aleksi Elomaa was supposed to do double duty. Like a couple of UK and I drivers, Jamie Fluke and Rob Reed as well, I believe. A couple of drivers were supposed to do double duty. Tommi Haakka out of Finnish roster is doing it, but Aleksi Elomaa surprisingly and sadly isn't. So he was subbed in at the last minute. but we got none other than Kim Eriksson substituting him in. And number 79, Kim Eriksson, watch out for him, because he may not be a well-known name to most of iRacers, but he is the fastest dirt rally driver in the world. So you got something to watch out from there.
You ready for qualifying, Cisco?
No, but I guess we're gonna find out here. This is gonna be... The intensity just got ratcheted up about 20 points right now, Will.
Well, here we are then. Qualifying starts.
Oh, it's single lap too. Oh.
Yeah. 14
I thought
minutes.
they're...
42
All right.
seconds on the play clock. 4 laps these guys have to go as fast as they possibly can, Cisco.
A different kind of 15-minute drill right now, Will.
We've got ourselves Mike Galloway here from the World Cup Committee as well. We'll have a talk with him in a moment's time, but guys are all heading themselves out on to track. Let's go and spend a couple of corners on board with this driver, Tommy Hacker, for Club Finland as well. We expect him to probably be in the top 4 or 5 at most in terms of qualification, so keep an eye out on him. Mike, welcome to RaceSpotTV. So, in terms of the points so far, it is close. 30 points to the good, Club UK and Ireland.
Yeah, crazy close. Obviously, I screwed it up the first time. Decided to give Finland an extra driver.
Yeah.
I don't know that they need the extra help, but okay.
But it all comes down to the roadside, as it has done in years previously. But it's a lot more of a complicated situation than many people, the casual viewer, give it credit for, because we know Club DX will show up here on the roadside more than they might have done on the oval. So the question's now going to be a case of taking points away from Club Finland and Club UK and I by the fact that they might place really well.
Yep, totally agree. They're going to play a factor. Spoiler, whatever you want to call it. It's not a straight up fight. The UK and I guys and the Finland guys have to be maybe a little more cautious than the DS drivers, the Northwest drivers for sure, who are just fighting over that third place. And right now, obviously, DH has that pretty comfortably.
Yeah, so we're going to further look at some of the Club Northwest guys. It talks about Club Northwest because they qualified into the finals, but they didn't really have a good oversight of it. They're a team that we know they have got 1 or 2 people who can be good on the sorry, I'm trying to find a word that I'm looking for here, on the roadside, but still, they are going to have a tough day of it.
We are, but I will tell you, this is going to be by far the strongest the roadside that we've ever put together. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they do. I'm excited to see how we can match pace throughout the race. I don't know that it'll be up towards the top, but again, I'm really unfortunate that the oval side sort of collapsed the way that it did, because again, we felt really good about our roadside and at least fighting really hard for that third place medal.
Well, we'll have a chat with you again in just a couple of moments' time. I'm going to step aside for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back with more after this. Same issue again.
So did you...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to RaceSpotTV. We're going to take ourselves a quick 3-minute breather. We'll be back with more qualifying after this.
Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for sticking with us there. Just trying to resolve a couple of things. Qualifying so far, it's close, but only between Finnish drivers here, Cisco.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you look at the top of the board, top four right now, all Club Finland. Then you got Sebastian Job in 5th right now. Finland again, make it happen in right there in 6th. 7th, Isaac Price. Finland has basically got the lockdown. Diach, first car from Diach, Marcel Fassbender is in 10th right now, but just about a second off pace right now. So not really what those guys are looking for right now. Finland is in a very good spot.
Yep. Very good spot, Jonas. 3 drivers separated by 16 one-thousandths of a second in qualifying. I think that's what we like to call finish consistency.
Yeah, I hope they finish consistently too, Will.
Yeah.
I've been saving that up all day long. Now, Riku Alatalo, Joni Takanen, Tommi Hahka, Kim Eriksson, and I'm absolutely stunned at the pace of Kim Eriksson especially. I mentioned he was put in as a substitute driver, not part of the original 10-driver lineup, and he is showing he is worthy. Miika Haapanen in P number 6, then Joni Törmälä in P number 8 as well. And also shoutouts to Mikko Nurmi, Joni Hagner, Mikko Paavilainen and JJ Nylander as well. Jari Nylander down in 15th position, and he is the last of the Finns. And that is important thing. I think Joni Beckman said on his interview that he needs at least 9 guys, the best 9 guys to finish in top 15, and that is right now. As the qualifying is still underway, that is what's happening. Now, they got 30-point deficit behind to the club of UK and Ireland, but if this is the finishing order, then it's gonna be really close indeed, especially as the top 4 are Finns, but there is still a race to go. Qualifying can tell you only so much, especially when we are talking about Spa-Francorchamps, which is a very treacherous track where anything can happen.
Yeah, so just having a look there, Simon Maltby, right down at the rear of the field. I actually want to show you some of the drivers towards the rear. Simon Maltby is one of those drivers right now. Wayne Hutchinson for Club Northwest is not on track. Christopher Sherburn doing double duty, if memory serves me correctly, there is down in the 38th position. Then you've got yourself Bruce Nelson in 37th in the 041 machine. Sebastian Job is on track right now, trying to move up for Club UK and Ireland. Minute 20 remaining qualifying. You'll just do that one in time there, Cisco.
Yeah, and just barely in time, got in. The clock is now out qualifying.
Oh, he's off.
Darn it.
Well, he definitely won't do it in time now.
But Mikko Paavilainen is still out there on his final lap. He is just coming up to Blanchimont right now. May I suggest we jump on board with the number 34 car then? The second to last of the Finns. He just might put in a really fast qualifying time. He was the fastest Finnish driver in Imola in the semifinals.
Yeah, he was. There he is then. Mikko Paavilainen, number 34 machine, running that rumble strip. Into the bus stop chicane. Out he comes. Let's see where he is. 14th up into 12th. So not much of an improvement there. Let's see if we can get that grid up for you. And you'll see it is Riku Alatalo who'll be starting on pole position for this, the road portion of the World Cup of iRacing final. It's an all-finish top 4 there. That's the thing that's worth noting, Cisco.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's, you know, a stranglehold on the top 4, as I like to say. And I mean, UK and Ireland, they're there, but look at, I mean, this is crazy. UK and Ireland, they have 4 drivers in the top 10. Everyone else, I mean, it's a Finnish lockout. It's ridiculous. It's just Finland, Finland, Finland on my timing sheet right now. That is how dominant they are right now.
We did notice there our first DX driver outside the top 10 once again. That hurts Club UK and Ireland more than it hurts Club Finland, in my opinion, Cisco.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Northwest, the closest driver they have right now is Pfeiffer in the 00. He's back in 16th right now. Will, they're not going to be able to play much of a factor. I mean, they're back there, JJ Nylander kind of area. I mean, he's your last Finnish driver, JJ Nylander, and he's 15th.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah, rear of the field, Alex Millward, 33rd for Club UK and Ireland. He needs to move up forward to help them get some strong points here. Someone Maltby down at the very rear of the field. That is not good for Club UK and Ireland. Well, here we are then. It only happens once a year, but it is now time to think about who will have the honour and the privilege of calling themselves the World Cup of iRacing champions. Coming into this one, it was 30 points between Club Finland and Club UK and Ireland. Club UK and Ireland leading, but Finland have got themselves a huge bit of momentum heading into this part of the event. Here we are then. Let's show you what these guys will be racing for. 77 degrees Fahrenheit, 68% humidity, 10 kilometers an hour wind here, in 60 minutes around this 4.3 mile racetrack. Wind speeds aren't that high, Jonas. It won't be too bad with the crosswinds.
No, not at all. Crosswinds are one thing drivers hate because they can be really unpredictable at times. They throw you off your rhythm. They throw you off your balance. Now the clear track, 41 degrees Celsius for those who are imperially challenged. 41 degrees Celsius track temps, those will help the drivers with great throttle control. And I've heard that throttle control is the key as with accuracy here at Spa-Francorchamps. Talk us through the start.
Yep, so that start is about to happen for us then. Just waiting for that pace car to start moving drivers forward. And unfortunately, we have got some more technical issues, ladies and gentlemen, so we'll be back with the start in just 1 second. Good start by Club Finland. They continue to lead the way. Riccardo Talo from Joni Tankonen, Kim Eriksson in third, Tommy Hacker in fourth. Start of the race overall pretty clean for Club Finland there, Cisco.
And actually, Tommy Hacker is right now under attack from the 11. That's the UK and Ireland car, Sebastian Job. He's their leading driver right now, trying to do everything he can to get up front. Right now has to jump in behind him as they head through Eau Rouge and down onto the straightaway here. Great run through Eau Rouge for that 11 car.
Yep, so here comes Sebastian Job. He's looking to try and get a position up, but not able to do so just yet. They work themselves behind the trees in towards the Carmen, not able to. So he remains in P5. He really is in a Finnish sandwich right now. And Sebastian Job looking as though he is going all out for broke immediately in this event, Cisco, as he goes down to the inside. Ooh, no. And he's going to turn the car around. And another one. Big wreck there down at Rivage.
And it's a parking lot. The track's clear for the moment. Cars getting by now, but that was not at all what these guys wanted to see. That's right up in the front of the pack. That took out several, not only Finland's drivers, but also UK and Ireland. That's big problems right there.
That could be the determining factor of this motor race. Let's get ourselves another look at that one as we can from our aerial coverage. Down in towards Rivage, and well, Jonas, Sebastian Job outbroke himself, but that was an unacceptable attempt at a pass there.
Well, you can't pass on the inside to Rivage. I was expecting him to do that. He wanted to get past Mika Haapanen as soon as possible. He went too late into the brakes. I think he was expecting Mika to give him also more room, which Mika wasn't actually required to do there. Mika gave him enough room, Sebastian Job outbraked himself and spun right into the car of Mika Haapanen, and as a result of that we also got plenty of other drivers involved in that wreck as well. Sorry, right into the car of Tommi Hahka, and Mika Haapanen then was the guy who crashed into him. So Tommi Hahka was the casualty of that, but they are able to get going. Let's see what the current standings are as a result will, but that was just a driving error, an honest driving error from Sebastian Job, but a very, very unfortunate one indeed.
Yeah, we are continuing to have some issues. What we're going to try and do, ladies and gentlemen, is find a way of at least bringing you some form of commentary whilst we try and sort this one out further. Cisco, take it away.
Yeah, and Job, I mean, we're back running underway here. Things kind of sorting out. Sebastian Job has fallen back to that 9th position. He's still on track right now. We'll have to see what happens with that. JJ Nylander has moved up into 7th. Actually, no, the standings are going to reset for us as the cars come across the line right now. And Alatalo right now, Jonas, he's your leader right now. He's in that number 3 car for Club Finland. Back behind him, Joni Takinen, Kim Eriksson. That's your top 3, top 4, Isaac Price. Then you start, that's, I believe, going to be your first UK and Ireland driver, and a Northwest driver up in the top, up to 6 right now, Jonas.
Yes, and Jimbo Pfeiffer has been doing really well, up from P number 16 into P number 6. Whether he's on light fuel load or just that fast, I don't know. But Jimbo is one guy who managed to avoid that wreck on Rivage that took out so many drivers from ahead of him. He is right now a little bit loose on Rivage, but is challenging Rob Reed, and this is something that is going to really come into play. Jimbo Pfeiffer, and this is what we talked about before the race. Drivers from clubs that are not UK and Ireland or Finland that are coming into play in this race, and as a result Tommi Hahka also perhaps able to catch up to that group as well, pulling Sebastian Job in his tow, then JJ Nylander, Joni Hagner, and then next Finn is Mikko Paavilainen down in P number 13, and also one more Finn I believe is in the field. No, there's not, so it's just those drivers. No, Mikko Nurmi is actually in the last place, so Mika Haapanen and Mikko Nurmi are out of the contention, Joni Törmälä as well. So a lot of Finns have been damaged as a result of that incident, and that is very unfortunate, but, and I'm saying but, this can still change. Because yes, all of those drivers are still out on the racetrack, I believe. No, Törmälä and Haapanen are actually in the pit lane.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is still a long race. Our race here that we have, Jonas, and I mean, at this point, you can't let something like that get to you. You still have plenty of racing time. So these guys, they just have to plug away at it after a while. They don't have time to worry about it. They just need to get on track, and they just need to keep going.
Yes, but remember that 30-point deficit that Finland had on UK and Ireland. It was looking so good for a bit of a longer time, as we also have some intra-club action in Club DH down in P number 24, 25 and 26, but those are not things you should worry about as a Finn. Things that you should worry about as a Finn right now are those guys on the back. So what this means to the guys in front, what this means to those guys who were starting from the front and didn't get caught up into that incident. They heard the news. Riku Alatalo will have heard the news. So will have Joni Takanen, and so will have Kim Eriksson. So it's something that they just have to muscle on. They have to do the best result they can and not care about the results, care about the points later on, because they also know that there are a lot of UK and Ireland drivers down at the back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we're going to continue to bring you coverage as well, but trying to get the stream back for you right now. Rob Reed is running 5th right now, and what a job from a driver who's doing double duty here, Jonas, and that puts a lot of stress on a driver. You have to shift out of that mindset of, you know, an oval driver. It's completely different driving tactics that you use here, and Rob Reed is doing a great job, as is Kim Eriksson.
Yes, Rob Reed is doing great job as well. I believe Kim Eriksson was not part of Club Finland lineup for the oval side. That was Tommi Hahka car number 22 here. So Tommi Hahka was part of Club Finland lineup, finished in P number 6 on the oval side, now is in P number 7 after that lap 2 incident with Sebastian Job. So Tommi Hahka is trying to recover as best as he can. He is right now behind Jimbo Pfeiffer, and he is actually catching up a little bit to Jimbo last time by, in fact, almost a second, as well as to Rob Reed. So Tommi Hahka can still bring the fight to Rob Reed and Jimbo and get that 5th place away from him. He is pulling JJ Nylander behind him, Joni Hagner also. So the situation is this, bit of a sit rep here. Right now, UK and Ireland drivers in the top 10 are Isaac Price in P number 4, Rob Reed in P number 5, and then you got Sebastian Job in P number 8 as well. So 3 drivers in the top 10. Now, it looks to me that Rob Reed's pace is not enough to match that of Tommi Hahka. And perhaps Sebastian Job will come back rapidly as well. They were in the leading picture, so things can still change. But after that, later on, we get confirmation on the points as well. So the points are the crucial thing. Right now it looks fairly good for Finland, although what I'm worried about right now is the pace of Kim Eriksson. He is not quite able to hold on to the back of Riku Alatalo and Joni Takanen as we perhaps expected, because Alatalo and Takanen are mighty fast in this car. And Isaac Price is catching him up. Now, it could have been a mistake from Kim Eriksson last time by, and he needs to get a hold of himself. Or Kim Eriksson could have just burned through his tires a little bit too quick, and as a result has to now defend from Isaac Price.
Isaac Price in 4th place right now, Kim Eriksson in 3rd place. Isaac Price is one of just 2 drivers with a World Championship license here in this event right now. So, just having a look down through the field a little bit more. And it's worth noting that what we were thinking about the fact, Jonas, that we might have ended up in a situation where DH drivers could have got themselves involved in the action. Well, that doesn't seem to have been the case here today.
No, not at all. Their biggest blow was right in the first corner. First corner of the race, that is very dangerous always, and Marcel Fassbender felt that more than anybody. He was turned into the wall at La Source. He's still back on the racetrack, but down in position number 22 will. And that means that the highest placed DH driver is right now Tobias Soltau, right in the top 10. He is in the 10th position, being chased rapidly by Mikko Paavilainen, so he could be soon out of the top 10 as well. And this is not quite something we expected from DH. We usually expect DH to be strongest opponents to Finland in the World Cup. They are multiple-time champions from the past, but they are just not bringing it this year.
Right, we're going to take a break. Back in with more. We're going to get this sorted out. We'll be back in a minute.
All right, let me know when you're. Let me know when you're.
You know, the straights are unbelievably long. The first time you come here, everyone tells you, you know, you'll be flat out 6th gear for 20 seconds. First time I was here, I lifted halfway down the straight. I didn't believe that it was still going. I was waiting to brake and I was back on the power. And the Porsche curves are extremely fast and extremely narrow, so it's a tricky track, and you know, every year I've come here, you learn something new every time.
Le Mans is so fast. Wherever you accelerate, you are over 150 miles per hour. Going there, I realized everything you have done before was nothing.
Welcome back to the World Cup of iRacing right here on RaceSpotTV and iRacingLive. Cisco Scaramuza alongside Jonas Huaka here to bring you the rest of the action. We apologize so much for all the outages we've been having, but we're back up, we're back going here. And Jonas, a lot of racing still left to go, 45 minutes left in the event.
Yes, 45 minutes left in the event. We do apologize for all the issues. They should be resolved now. This is not an ideal situation, but we'll do our best here at RaceSpotTV to bring you the rest of the coverage as well. And this is an important event. This is the World Cup of iRacing 2016. And UK and Ireland are right now poised to take over the crown from Finland. But if you ask these Nordic people, they are not going to have it so easy. We have in the lead Riku Alatalo and Joni Takanen, nose to tail right now, running practically identical lap times. Kim Eriksson still defending the Ford gallantly in the 3rd place, ahead of Isaac Price. Then it's Rob Reed, Tommi Hahka, who has managed to get himself ahead of Jimbo Pfeiffer right now. So he is in the 6th position and chasing Rob Reed as we speak. So we could have soon enough 4 Finnish drivers in your top 5. Will it be enough? I just don't know yet, but the situation as it stands is precarious and we are just going to have to wait on the points update, Cisco. So here at Spa-Francorchamps, anything can happen, it certainly will, and that incident between Tommi Hahka and Sebastian Job has certainly lit a fire under our chat. So just try to keep it civil, guys. Conversation, of course, is not only expected, it is only encouraged, but just try to keep it civil. Everyone has their own opinion and the judges and the referees will decide on that one. So, the story of the race so far, big wreck, and now everything has been changed. Finland has been the fastest so far, but UK and Ireland looks like they have more healthy cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And Takanen, I mean, you know, he's way out in front right now. He's got teammates behind him. Everything so far is going well for the driver in 1st place at the moment. We talked about that battle between kind of UK and Ireland trying to get back into the swing of this here, and just for Takanen, he just has to keep going. So at this point, Jonas, what's the game plan for Team Finland? Just stay like keep doing what they're doing. What's the plan here?
Do your best. You cannot really plan for situations like this, and always in a motor race, when you encounter issues, the most important thing is to finish the race for each and every one of the drivers. Even those... Oh! And as we have contact between Mikko Nurmi and another driver who I believe is Simon Maltby out of UK and Ireland, coming...
There we go, yep.
Into the corner. Mikko with a really late dive into the corner, but he was so much faster too. He was 5 seconds a lap faster, trying to make the move work, and Simon just turned into him, perhaps not expecting him. And this is a similar situation that we saw with Sebastian Job, only Mikko didn't lose control of his car and he was actually holding on to the apex there. But I'm not a judge, so someone else will have to make the decision on that one. Certainly something dramatic, but ultimately not costing Mikko Nurmi too much. He still managed to get the overtake done and is ahead of Simon Maltby right now, and doesn't look to have enough damage to really unsettle the car. So Mikko Nurmi right now in position number 24, not what we expected of him, but granted he was one of the casualties in that Rivage mayhem.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm trying to find our leader right now back on the list, but This race has definitely been a lot more violent than I think what we saw in the oval. Obviously, we don't have the full course caution.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Andy Fuller in Eau Rouge, car number 4, just went hard nose first into the wall. That was big, and he is out of your motor race for Club Northwest.
Yeah, and we got the replay on screen right now. We're going to take a look and see what happened to the number 4 car right there. And that was big problems there as he head through Eau Rouge, I believe. And, I mean, at that point, he just hit the... Did it just get... Yeah, he just lost it. He just lost it, got loose going up the hill. And that's all she wrote. Now, Corvette hard in the outside wall.
Yes, and the right along top of the hill at Eau Rouge, it's really difficult and it's really easy to do that. He was unsettled already going over that curb, and you have to keep your wheel straight or turn left when you go over that curb. If you turn right, if you're a bit unsettled hitting that, then that is what's going to happen now. Andy Fuller, he could have done a 2-foot save perhaps. What he did instead, he tried to keep it under control and just snapped too hard back, and that is something we see in a lot of motor races, and he is out of your race for Club Northwest. So, casualties in the back, and these are the things why drivers are encouraged to just keep going, keep doing what they are doing. Meanwhile, we also have a change for your leader. It is Joni Takanen now, leading ahead of Riku Alatalo, so perhaps some Finnish tactics there as well. Riku knew that he had the pace early on, but Takanen is much more experienced in these GT1 cars, and he is also a driver who can save his tires really well. And this man from Madunummi in Halikko, you haven't heard much of Joni Takanen in the broadcasts, but he is right now the driver who has the entire hopes of a nation of 5.5 million people behind him. Whether Joni Takanen's shoulders are broad enough to hold them up or no, that we will have to wait and see. I believe also soon enough we could have pit stop time. We are expecting them to come into the pit lane at about half an hour into this race, perhaps a little bit later. The battle for your third place is still raging on as well. It is Kim Eriksson, Isaac Price battling that out. Kim Eriksson's last time by was 2:14.4 and Isaac Price 2:14.2, but Cisco, it looks like Isaac does have the pace to keep up, but not quite the pace to overtake.
Yeah, and we watched that a little bit. He went side by side there with the car in front for a little bit there, but just didn't have the pace on Ericsson. He wasn't able to do a whole lot, lost a little bit of time. Do apologize, no paint on the 15 on my screen there. We do apologize, but nonetheless, Isaac Price at this point, he's just got to keep soldiering on. Got that Corvette. He can't get too, I guess, ticked at himself for kind of losing a little bit of time there. He's got to get back going. He's got to keep chugging along. He's the highest placed driver for UK and Ireland at the moment, and he's got to get his hands on the wheel and just get going, Jonas.
Yeah, I believe he just has to hope the price is right this time. Ha ha ha. There you go.
All right.
So another interesting thing I should point out is that Tommi Hahka has now freed himself from that battle with Rob Reed for the 5th position. And Tommi Hahka's pace, despite that early on contact, hasn't seemed to drop too much. And remember, this was the driver who was third in qualifying, was reckoned to be one of the aces for Club Finland. And he is right now in the 5th place, and this is a long race. We are only on lap 11, we are running for 1 hour here, remember. So, Tommi Hahka is only 7 seconds behind Isaac Price right now, so theoretically, he could still catch up. And if that is the case, then make it a top 4 for Finland once again in the formation of Joni Takanen, Riku Alatalo, Kim Eriksson and Tommi Hahka. But Isaac Price is a long way away, and we know the pace of Isaac Price. It is very, very, very good. He is a World Championship GT Series driver. Oh, and as Kim Eriksson makes a little bit of a mistake at Lecombe, and that is going to allow Isaac Price to perhaps try for the Sebastian Job move down to the inside of Rivage. He is certainly thinking about it, but decides against it, and that is a very difficult corner to overtake. But with GT cars, there is only one real line, and that is the inside line, Cisco.
Yeah, and I mean, we're right now off the back bumper of Ericsson right there as they come through the S's there, down the straightaway towards the left-hander. And Ericsson right now is just on defense mode. He can't worry too much about trying to gain time on his teammates or getting back up to his teammates. We know pit stops are coming soon, Jonas, and Isaac Price just lost a ton of time going through there as they break here. I just don't think Price is consistent enough to do anything with Ericsson right now.
No, he's not. He was perhaps a little bit intimidated as they went through Pujon. I think he didn't use all of the track on the entry, and on the exit he had to run the tight line as a result, got a little bit too far over the curb and loses time. Now he has to also take a little bit of an off-track excursion as they head themselves towards the straight before Blanchimont. So, Isaac Price is going to have his hands filled with Kim Eriksson right now. Another interesting battle, I should point out, is the battle between Mikko Paavilainen, David Williams and Dragan Nikic for your position number 10. Those are important positions, and they are also catching up slightly to Tobias Soltau in P number 9, and these are important points, remember. And these are the overtakes that for Club Finland Mikko Paavilainen has to make. He cannot let the edge drivers take away too many points from them. As it looks right now, Mikko Paavilainen can be fairly certain that he can at least hold on to the fort, but anything can happen and usually will in a long motor race. So, another driver doing the double duty is Christian Challenger, down in 13th place. He was very, very good on the oval side. We saw that he was, in fact, one of the leading drivers on the oval side for Club UKNI, and here on the road side, where most people are more used to seeing this Blackadder driver normally, he was only 29th, and I'm saying only 29th in qualifying, but right now up to your P number 13, position number 13, perhaps challenging for a top 10 even in this race if everything goes as planned. So he's one of those drivers who has kept himself simply out of the trouble, and as a result bringing home those all important points, Cisco.
Yeah, absolutely, and Challenger, and he's just got to keep plugging away at it. That UK and Ireland, they got a little bit of help in that wreck, and I mean, that's not exactly what they were hoping for. I mean, no one wanted to see that wreck at all, but these guys, they have to take advantage of, you know, what happened there. I mean, like it or not, Finland lost a bunch of drivers there, whether you like it or not, and I mean, UK and Ireland, these guys have an advantage coming into the race. It's always easier to defend than it is to attack, and Jonas, these UK and Ireland guys, at this point, they just need to cling on, because right now, from what it looks like, they just don't have the sheer speed to compete with Takinen and Club Finland. These guys need to get every position, every point matters for these guys.
Yes, it does, and it's going to be a lot of match doing. A lot of people are going to do a lot of match right now, and they are going to be telling certain drivers, okay, I know the Finnish mentality, I competed in World Cup finals last year, so I know the mentality is mostly, okay, just keep doing what you're doing, drive a race, you have driven a race before, but certainly, if there is a World Cup to be won on the last lap, then we are going to see some interesting moves. And right now, as it looks like to me, there could be a World Cup to be won on the last lap, Cisco.
Well, it's gonna, if it's gonna come anywhere, it's definitely gonna be probably Isaac Price, if he can get around that 79 of Ericsson. I mean, they keep going right now, and Ericsson, he's doing everything he can, man. I mean, Isaac Price, he's still there. We can't deny that he's still there. Isaac Price, though, just needs to be consistent. That's the biggest thing I've seen out of that 15 car that's failing him. He gets to the back bumper of Ericsson, he gets a good run. He's especially good at this first part of the track, but Price, he just needs to be consistent over the rest of the lap. We saw him lose a little bit of time, especially in Blanchimont. He just doesn't have the speed that Ericsson does. Not sure if that's just down to the setup, Jonas, or if that's just down to, you know, how these guys are driving the track. But right now, Isaac Price, he has a good run going through Sector 1, Sector 2, they're about even, and then I'd say Sector 3 goes to Finland.
Yes, Sector 3 goes to Finland, and I'm looking at this race, and it seems to me that Kim Eriksson just has a little bit less wing, and that is the point you touched on, Cisco. The setup, and how it makes a difference. I know these guys, the Finnish guys, run a fairly similar setup, but they are encouraged to try their own little tweaks if it helps them drive better. Because I know that when you go at absolutely top speed, at absolutely fastest you can, during the duration of 1 hour, then you need a setup that you can most importantly trust. As Kim Eriksson goes a little bit wide, braking at, I believe, is Fan's corner, unless I remember my corners at Spa wrong, and that allows Isaac Price to catch up a little bit to him, but if he indeed has more wing than Kim Eriksson, then it's going to be really difficult to overtake unless he gets a mammoth run out of Eau Rouge. I think that is what he's going to need, and Eau Rouge with these cars is absolutely not a flat-out corner, and it's very difficult to nail just right. We saw one driver already going into the wall at the top of the hill at Rodin, and as a result of that, every driver is going to need to be a little bit extra careful, especially Kim Eriksson if he indeed has less wing, Cisco.
Yeah, absolutely, and that comes down to tires as well, too. If you don't have as much wing, maybe that's a little less downforce, a little less pressure you're putting on those tires, if I know my aerodynamics correctly, that is. I don't know. I'll have to throw that one to you. But I would think if he's running a little less wing, he's not running as aggressive as a setup. I would think that'd probably help tire wear a little bit.
It would help his tire wear a little bit, but ultimately, I think it's a lot about preference with these drivers. As I said already, when you're running a little bit less wing than the other drivers, then what you also have a little bit looser of a race car. You can drive a little bit more with oversteer, a little bit more with the throttle. It oversteers a bit more into the corners. As with the GT cars, more rear wing tends to cause a little bit more understeer, and that is the last thing you want at Spa-Francorchamps. You're going to feel that you're running out of track and each and every corner exit as Kim Eriksson locks up the brakes, this time into Lecombe, and he is running out of tire very fast, but Isaac Price just not able to get close enough. Meanwhile, we also have Sebastian Job, who is, interestingly enough, about to be lapped here. So he has faced several issues and is right now about to be lapped, locked up the brakes, big time going into Rivage. Let's see if Rico Alatalo can make it clean through him. I hope he can. And I'm not accusing Sebastian Job of anything here, remember. That, I think, was ultimately a racing incident. Perhaps what we could call an optimistic attempt at overtaking, but ultimately a racing incident, and I think that is how it should be declared as well. It is up to the judges to say if there is going to be any punishment handed out for that or not. Also, there are plenty of other drivers on track as well. I am going to ask for focusing on the battle between Simon Maltby and Joni Hagner for your P number 26. We saw as Joni Hagner goes for the crossover at the exit of the bus stop chicane, is on the outside coming into Lasoros. We saw Simon Maltby involved in an incident with Mikko Nurmi earlier. Let's see if it goes better with Joni Hagner. Hagner braking later on the outside. Let's see if Maltby can hold his line on the inside. Yes, he can. And Hagner should get a better exit as they run down into a rush. Oh, they touch. And Maltby slowing down as a result of the contact, and Hagner just closing the door on him and takes the position away. And as a result of that, Joni Hagner is right now up into P number 26, and most crucially, Cisco, he took another point away from Club UK and iDriver.
Yeah, and I gotta think, regardless of what your stance is on the Sebastian Job thing, Finland is not happy in that camp. And I mean, you've raced with these guys before. You know what these guys are like in the race session. But I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are, they're not going to be happy about it, regardless if it was an accident or not. That took out a bunch of their drivers up at the top of this thing. At this point, Finland needs every point they can get, and maybe a little bit of anger behind that move, or maybe just a little bit of incidental contact. Nonetheless, Finland on the aggressive side right now.
Yes, and we also have drivers coming in the pit lane. Jimbo Pfeiffer from P number 7. Leading Tobias Soltau, Mikko Paavilainen, David Williams, Marcel Fassbender, and Jamie Fluke coming into the pit lane, as well as is Mike Rochin, Mitchell Cornett, and a lot of other drivers, Brian Bennett as well. So a lot of drivers from your midfield are coming into the pit lane right now, and this is a long pit lane at Spa-Francorchamps. It's a really long pit lane. It's the endurance pit, so you're going to run in the pit lane through the main straight as well as down in the run towards Rouge, and actually pitting here on this track, as funny as it sounds, may be more treacherous than it really should be, because that inside wall on La Source hairpin, Cisco, it's actually really dangerous.
Yeah, it's not exactly what I would call even, Jonas. There's just a little bit of a... It's basically put up with barriers. I mean, it's not one continuous barrier. It's kind of a bunch, and that it just changes. It changes the complexion of that, and it's not completely uniform. It's not a perfect circle. And, that's one of those things where if we were anywhere else, maybe that would be a solid barrier. But because iRacing, I mean, that's what we talk about when we talk about laser scanning. Those sorts of things. It reminds me of the stairs at Gateway, the stairs in the middle of the pit road, that if you're against the wall, you run in the stairs, you blow up your car. So it's these little things these guys have to look out for, and in our race, you can't have that happen. This is not an endurance race. This is a sprint race.
Yes, it is. Meanwhile, also, Kim Eriksson having a lot of trouble getting past Mark Fatkenhauer for Club Diaz, and Kim Eriksson is a lap ahead of him, so it should be an easy job, but Mark just not giving him any room at all. And if I read this situation correctly, it seems that the leaders have pitted already as well. Kim Eriksson coming into the pit lane on last lap as well, so Kim Eriksson is on track, actually behind Mark Fatkenhauer, but he is on much fresher tires and he is losing a lot of precious time, and as a result, one driver who is right now on the pit lane, Isaac Price, is going to benefit from this massively, and we'll see what the situation is once Isaac Price comes out of the pit lane back on your racetrack. But I'm fearing and also expecting that after they come out of the pit lane, Isaac Price is going to be ahead of Kim Eriksson, and then Kim Eriksson has all the job to do, and that is when we see who has the more wing.
Yeah, I think if he had the chance to be on the headlights, Eriksson was right there. Price, meanwhile, coming down. He's rolling down pit road right now. I'm not sure if he's coming into the box or what the case is. He's down pit road. He is into the box right now. So Isaac Price on pit road. We see a lot of traffic down there in the pits. This will probably be this is the only stop for these guys they need to make, as you know, there's less of the race to go. We're past that halfway point at this point, Jonas. So now Isaac Price down there. The lights are flashing. The pit limiter's on. We're waiting for Isaac Price. Finland cars go by. That's 1 and 2, and I believe that's Eriksson going by him right there. No, that's Alatalo. Yeah. So I'm looking for Eriksson. Where is he? There he is.
There he is, coming up through Eau Rouge. Tommy Haka ahead of him. Isaac Price is already out of the pit lane and he is gone by a long shot. Tommy Haka also coming up behind Eriksson right now. So the gap between Isaac Price and Kim Eriksson right now about 3 or 4 seconds. That's how much he lost on that last time by, and that is going to be crucial for Club UK and Ireland, because right now Isaac Price has pulled himself ahead of Kim Eriksson on the racetrack. Is solidly into your third place, the last step on the podium, but whether Tommy Haka and Kim Eriksson can catch him up or not, that is a completely different question, and I'm guessing you'll just have to wait and see on that one, Cisco. Meanwhile, we are also welcoming on the broadcast booth Cam Walsh. Cam, how are you doing?
Hello, everybody. It's been a good day so far, but I think we've got some more Corvette action for us, or at least in my foreseeable future for the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, as these guys are absolutely rip-roaring, and here at Spa-Francorchamps, looks like it's still a great race.
Yeah, we flew him in all the way from the States, Jonas. We got Concord back out there, fetched him, we brought him over so we can have a little bit extra help here at the booth. But Cam, we're talking about Corvettes, Spa, a track beloved by so many of these iRacers here. Probably one of the fan favorites on the Grand Prix circuit. And Spa, for these GT1 cars, which we've seen a lot of GT3 action lately here on iRacingLive. It's nice to see the GT1s back out here in force. The Corvette, of course, the only car out here today. No Astons, apologies for that. But, you know, these guys, World Cup, the finals, this is where it all comes together.
Yes, that is very much where it all comes together. No Astons. I would have loved to hear that V12 noise, but right now, last year's winner, as always in World Cup, decides the combination. So it is on the road Chevrolet Corvette GD1 C6R versus another Chevrolet Corvette C6R. So it's going to be GD1s and solely V8 American GD1s pitted against each other. And it's gonna be a real issue of who can save the tires the best, who can bring the most out of these cars. And I tell you, these drivers have been practicing this combination a lot, and I mean a lot. Spa-Francorchamps, a lot of Finns we know are in good pace here. A lot of UK and I drivers are in good pace here as well. So the race is far from over yet. We got updated gap on the situation between Isaac Price and Kim Eriksson, and it is 3.6 seconds. So that is the deposit that Kim Eriksson is going to have to make up on this race. And it's going to be interesting to see once those lap times of Isaac Price start to come up. Isaac also has a little bit of fresher rubber. It's not gonna be playing into this issue as much as it does on the oval side, but it is still a major factor on the roadside, Cam.
No, absolutely. And I was watching Tommy Haka of the 22 of the Team Finland, and he actually had a slowdown down the back. Well, I say the back straight, but the very long straight after Radillion and Eau Rouge. So that's wait, those two don't go together. Anyways, so Tommy Haka had to slow up, so he's actually going to allow that gap to get. At least I thought it was supposed to get a little bit ahead of Kim Eriksson, perhaps. He managed to just clip the inside and not manage to trigger the eye of the marshals as I haven't really seen him slow up yet, so they would have black flagged him by now. But it looked like these guys are starting to take such an aggressive line heading up that the first couple of corners and heading towards Air Rouge. Overall, though, I mean, just watching these guys, I think they're just going to buckle up and get together here. A pair of drivers like this, I think it's very smart to hang out together when you're running right on through, especially with this much competition.
Yes, very much so, and other drivers around you can also give you that confidence. You got the familiar face behind you, and you got the trust that Kim Eriksson also, he is, I think, the one leading the charge against Isaac Price for that third position. But the thing is, the gap has gone a little bit up to 3.7 seconds last time by, so he has also the insurance. We know that Tommi Haakka is a very fast driver, and if he can't pull it through, then he has to make the decision of letting Tommi Haakka go, letting Tommi Haakka have the chance. It's not a multi-21 situation like we've seen in Formula 1, it's going to be a decision between clubmates, and something that we are perhaps going to see right now, no, not yet, but it's going to be done on this long straight. No, actually, Kim Eriksson braking really early, and as a result, he's going to let Tommi Haakka through. Exactly what we were talking about moments ago, Cam.
Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't Tommi Haakka that managed to pick up a penalty. The next lap, Kim Eriksson ended up catching the eye of the marshals. And when you do that, when you take the aggressive attack line, you can pick up. It's called a time penalty. You have to give the time that relative to what you gained, plus a little bit for the issue, and that is allowed. He ended up giving it at the back of the on the entry of the next couple of corners, the Lake Holm complex, which is exactly what you should do. And you only cost him that position with Tommi Haakka. Sometimes when somebody gets that penalty, they'll immediately just lay right off the throttle, and that tends to not to work well. And Cisco, I mean, when you got that happening there, it costs you, but for Tommi Haakka and Kim Eriksson, not that much.
Yeah, absolutely, Cam, but we're going to take a moment, we're going to step aside, we're going to go, well, I guess LSR TV non-stop so you don't miss a moment of the action. We'll stay on board with Tommi Haakka, we'll keep an eye on that gap, we'll let you know if anything happens. From Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps here in Belgium, you're watching the World Cup of iRacing right here on iRacingLive and RaceSpotTV. Welcome back here to the 2016 World Cup of iRacing Finals right here on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacingLive. Glad to have you along for the ride. Cisco Scaramouche alongside Cam Welsh and Jonas Puaka here to bring you all the action. And we're looking right now, Isaac Price just locked up the brakes as we saw from the cockpit of Tommi Haakka, and that gap has closed, Jonas.
That gap has closed very much indeed. It is right now, as we get an updated gap over the line, it is less than 3 seconds. It is 2.8 seconds, I believe, right now. So Tommi Haakka catching up to Isaac Price a little bit at the time, just nagging, biting little pieces out of the gap, the lead that Isaac Price has on him right now. And he is, most importantly, he is pulling Kim Eriksson in his toe right now. Kim Eriksson less than 2 seconds away from him. And if Kim can really hang up with Tommi Haakka, if he can stay on the draft of Tommi Haakka, then Kim Eriksson is going to be another factor to consider, especially if it's going to be a lengthy battle between Isaac Price and Tommi Haakka, then Kim Eriksson can catch up too, and perhaps they can relegate Isaac Price all the way into position number 5. Now, running out your order right now, it is still Joni Takanen in the lead, 5.5 seconds over Riku Alatalo, then Isaac Price in 3rd place, Tommi Haakka 4th, Kim Eriksson 5th, Rob Reed 6th, 10, JJ Nylander, Jimbo Pfeiffer, the leading Northwest driver, Tobias Soltau, the leading DH driver, and right behind him, actually we could jump right on that battle because it is brewing between Tobias Soltau and Mikko Paavilainen for the 9th place. Mikko Paavilainen catching Tobias Soltau 4/10 of a second last time by, and Mikko is really putting on a charge here, Cam.
No, absolutely. And just looking through, I mean, the rest of the field here, Joni Takanen has had to go through some lap traffic. And as such, I don't necessarily think it's going to slow him down that much. But just throughout here, just looking at your lap times as the relative goes, I mean, Joni is obviously running extraordinarily fast laps. But I will say Tommi Haakka, as you're saying, is going to be closing on Isaac Price. I mean, they can almost see each other. In fact, they can see each other coming through the long, winding backstretch here on Spa-Francorchamps before they get to the final couple of the corners in the bus stop, of course. So for Isaac Price, I'm not quite sure what's been heading with his Corvette C7R, perhaps. As he manages to get around Sebastian Job, one of the lapped cars that was involved, I believe, in that earlier incident, as Sebastian Job just has a heck of a time trying to get through, and Jorni Tomala is coming into the pits. Perhaps he has some additional damage, so that's another Team Finland driver, but obviously, as you were saying, Jonas, he's quite a far ways down, but Isaac Price, he's gotten past Sebastian Job, and for Tommi Haakka, he should have a decent way to get around. It shouldn't be that big of a deal.
It shouldn't be, but we saw Isaac Price having big issues earlier on passing Kim Eriksson, so it could be multiple things. It could be just the Finnish drivers running less wings than the UK and Ireland drivers. It could be just a case between Kim Eriksson and Isaac Price, that Kim Eriksson specifically was running less wing than Isaac Price. But if Tommi Haakka, we don't know his setup yet. We are actually looking at his straight line speeds. It's 273 kilometers per hour at the end of the line. Now let's see, Isaac Price had a little bit of tow, but he was doing 269 kilometers per hour at the end of the Kemmel Straight. So I believe, Cam, the thing here is that Finnish drivers might just have 1 click less wing than the UK and Ireland drivers, but the thing is that that little speed difference combined with the draft is going to make all the difference when it comes to overtaking.
Oh, that it absolutely is, and there's actually a battle not that far behind Isaac Price. This might involve Tommi Haakka at some point, but Christopher Sherburne and Sebastian Job are now going side by side as a UK and I driver and a Northwest driver, and for Tommi Haakka, I think he's just going to go, oh boy, here we go, because that's just going to allow Isaac Price, your Corvette in 3rd position right now, to start slipping away, perhaps, unless Tommi Haakka can really get around. I think Sebastian has obvious front right side damage, but you know what? If you're Sebastian Job, well, I mean, it's not like he's going to intentionally try to hold up Tommi Haakka, but I have a feeling he's not necessarily going to get out of the way and roll out the red carpet.
No, not at all. It's going to have to done the hard way by Tommi Haakka, and I don't think Sebastian Job is gonna let him buy the easy. Granted, they had the earlier contact. These were the 2 drivers that crashed on lap 2, and actually, Sebastian Job is being the gentleman here. As I expected, he is a World Championship Grand Prix Series driver. He is no slouch when it comes to racecraft either, so Sebastian Job, he knows he made a mistake, and there's no point really making further mistakes just because it's for the club. I mean, he knows he has made a mistake, and I don't think he's going to be childish enough to just make further mistakes trying to hold up Club Finland. And Tommi Haakka has gotten past Sebastian Job right now. He's gotten past Christopher Sherburne as well, and as a result, he has lost a bit of time on that last lap to the driver Isaac Price, who is running still in your 3rd position. He is 3.2 seconds. We'll keep you updated on the gap as the race rolls along, but Cisco, I believe there's not that much time left really.
No, we got 11 minutes and 20 seconds left to go in this motor race as they head down the straightaway here. And we've been keeping an eye around kind of Isaac Price a little bit. We've been looking at Haka, we've been looking at Ericsson, around these guys, because this really is the determining factor. I mean, we talk about, you know, every point matters, and for Isaac Price right now, we can't see the point standings right now. We don't know. So for all we know, Finland could have this locked up, but then again, we just don't know. We can estimate all we can, but at the end of the day, every point matters, and Cam, we got a battle for 10th.
Yes, we do. It's David Williams and Mikko Paavalainen, as it's just my closest approximation to that. But for David Williams, that's another UK and I driver trying to get a pass on another Finn driver. And obviously, this is going to be fairly important here, going by the battle here, because this is UK and I and Finland. Those are our two, really, the people who are here to actually win the World Cup this season, as they are following right behind the front-running Diatch driver, the number 9, or the number 92 of Tobias Soltau. So it's Soltau, Paavalainen, and David Williams. And for David Williams, if he can pick up these two positions here in the closing stages of this race, I think that would be very important for UK and I in securing their, or at least trying in their attempt to try and secure their very first World Cup victory, Jonas.
Yes, it would be the first one. Sort of a virginity lost for UK and Ireland there, and they've been poised for it. They were poised for it last year too. We all remember what happened in that first corner of Suzuka last year by. They had a major issue. Oh, and someone is having major issues here right now. I believe it's Alex Milward out of Club UK and Ireland coming into Stavelo, and he just spun into the gravel trap. Let's see what happened there. Oh, just a bit of oversteer on the exit of Stavelo part 1 and snapped oversteer on the correction, and as a result he ends up on the gravel trap. Fortunately for him, he is able to keep going, but lost a lot of time there.
Yeah, replay up right now, Cam, and yeah, it just fishtailed on him. I mean, not really a whole lot you can do at that point. It's just make sure you don't nose it in the wall. He didn't. Just a loss of grip and a loss of time, but no damage really on that 53.
No, and he's down in 28th position, and the 29th position car is quite a ways back, so he doesn't have to worry too much about it. So for Alex Milward, I don't think he can go that much further up ahead. Not like it would matter. It's another UK and I driver that's up ahead, Simon Maltby, probably. But for Alex, he ended up at least pulling into the inside. He's letting a couple of cars go right on by. I believe that's probably one of your front-running cars then. Yeah, one of your top 10 drivers. As going down now, going down the Kemmel Straight, it's still going to be Tobias Soltau, Mikko Paavalainen, and David Williams still fighting for that 9th and 10th position. And David Williams might actually lean to the inside here, as he is going to have to just reel in that Corvette just a little bit heavier on the brakes than Mikko was, as that was Mikko's line, Jonas. And right now, you have to say the battle is on in the closing stages of this race.
It is indeed, and it's going to be so important, as we discussed earlier, for Club UK and Ireland to get David Williams past the car of Mikko Paavalainen for that 10th position, and this is hindering also Mikko's chances of catching up to Tobias Soltau, because right now he has to defend. He cannot think about attacking. He just has to think about running his own line. Now, I'm saying that was very optimistic of David Williams. We saw that he wasn't able to hold his line either, but I think that was more of a, let's just put it this way, it was more of a declaration of intent than anything else from David Sisko.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, Williams, like we said, I mean, you gotta go for every point you can right now, and that UK and Ireland car, we are seeing a VRS Coanda paint, but not really the car that's supposed to be. I mean, that's a UK Ireland car, so
if you squint really hard,
if you use your imagination, that has a UK Ireland paint on it. But
exactly,
considering, you know, all that's gone down, I'm kind of, you know, this is we're just happy to be here right now, Jonas. But David Williams is in a very particular spot. You got 7 minutes left in the race. I bet you if David Williams went full attack mode, he could get to the back bumper of the 34. But you go full attack mode in these cars, the tires are gone. I mean, we're already seeing the 33 struggling to get back onto the gas, and we know that there's a little bit of a wing difference between these two cars. There's a wear difference at that point. Do you go attack now, or do you just kind of go passively attack and try and stretch your tires?
The plan right now, I believe, is that you try the best you can. He has to absolutely think of one thing and one thing only, and that is getting past the number 10 car of number 34 car of Mikko Paavilainen in the 10th position, as I was looking at the wrong piece of numbers there. But I don't think the situation with David Williams on the wing is similar to the situation of Isaac Price, because he could just have a little bit less wing. That would explain the eerie handling on the rear end of that car, as David Williams is really struggling. I was watching him exiting La Source on this lap. He was really struggling on the rear end, getting the grip down, getting the mechanical grip down. That has nothing to do with the wing. That just has to do with burning out your rear tires. Meanwhile, Mikko Paavilainen has caught right up to Tobias Soltau. The gap doesn't need to be measured with the clock. You can see it on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. And oh, Tobias going really wide at the exit of Bruxelles, and as a result of that, the so-called no-name corner and coming to Pujon. Let's see if Mikko can pour some pressure on him. Takes a little bit of a wider line through Pujon, nothing wrong with that. Solid line on the exit, and now Mikko really needs to get by Tobias Soltau before David Williams has a chance to attack him. But the situation is this. Mikko Paavilainen, in all reality, needs to get the pass done on his first go. Otherwise, he might open himself up for an attack, and that is, Cam, in a lot of ways just like boxing. If your own attack doesn't hit, you get opened up for a counter.
Yes, absolutely, and the counter is sometimes always more effective than your initial. And for Tobias Soltau here, he's going to have the Finnish driver right behind, and then that UK&I driver not that far behind. But there's also another little developing thing to keep an eye on. Of course, we have some live track marshalling, of course, going on, and there's a final warning out for one of the UK&I drivers, Christian Chalnier, in the 13th position. If something happens with him, that would drop him back quite a bit as well, and that is very important.
Oh, excuse me. P number 3, Isaac Price versus Tommi Haakka. Tommi Haakka going to the outside. He has finally caught up to Isaac Price. Isaac Price forced to defend on the inside. They come through Lecomte. Tommi Haakka not able to make it work this time by, but stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. This could be very well for the World Cup. We need the updated point scored, but right now Tommi Haakka is still behind. He is looking to the inside and forcing Isaac Price to take defensive lines on some corners already, and there are still a couple of laps left to make that move on Isaac Price. But realistically, Tommi Haakka, he has now done the so-called easy part of catching up. Now there is the hard part left, Cisco, and that is the overtake.
Yep, he got there. I mean, like you said, we say it all the time. It's kind of become a cliche thing across all of broadcasting. Getting to him is one thing, but passing him is very different, and especially here at these road courses. And I mean, you know, I have my background in oval stuff, but I mean, we've seen, especially, I gotta think back to the Spa endurance race that we had not that many months ago, Cam.
Cisco?
Yes, Cam.
We had a brief touch between David Williams' car and Mikko Paavilainen's car. I don't believe it did any damage between the two. It was going through Lake Combs. I think David was leaning, trying to go on the inside, which would then become the outside through Lake Combs. But ultimately, though, they made a little bit of touch. David Williams backed right off immediately and apologized on the driver's radio system. So he backed off and is now going to reset. And actually, that might go into huge favor for Mikko, is there is only 3 minutes, exactly 3 minutes left, so it should be where is Joni Takinen. He, of course, is our leader in 41st, in the number 41 in first, as he is crossed the start-finish line.
It's gonna be close.
And so it should be 2 laps. I believe it'll be 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go, indeed. That, I believe, is the case too. Now, that would be very good for Tommi Haakka and Club Finland. That would be... Oh! As Isaac Price goes really wide on Earth coming up top of the hill on Ruddy Lawn, avoids the slowdown penalty there, but Tommi Haakka has another run on him. Isaac Price closing up the inside once again. Tommi Haakka going through the middle, going to the outside. Now Isaac Price not going to give him much room on the entry. Tommi Haakka ahead on the entry, but Isaac Price able to break much later once again. Isn't able to hold his line, but he was already ahead of Tommi Haakka. So he is going to, I think, realistically have to find out another place to overtake the car of Isaac Price, because I don't think Tommi can get it done on the outside of Lecomte. But Isaac Price sliding once again as they go through Rivage. Now it is going to be a very precarious situation indeed for both Tommi Haakka and Isaac Price. Kimi Eriksson also closing up on them as a result of the battle. Kimi Eriksson is actually not that far away. He is 2.5 seconds back, Cam. And realistically, if these two guys start battling on the last laps, could Kim Eriksson be the one to benefit from this?
I'm not quite sure. This is going to be a difficult one I have to say, just to try and think and see here, because yes, you've got Isaac Price and Tommy Haka, but if something happens to Isaac Price, that's a huge issue, because you're taking somebody from third and pushing him way on back. If something happens to Tommy Haka, well, Kim Eriksson's right there to take up the flag. Rob Reed is some 15 seconds behind, and he's getting pursued by J.J. Nylander. And J.J. Nylander, though he is some 10 seconds behind, I mean, if something were to happen, there are still more Finnish drivers between Isaac Price and the second running UK&I driver than the other way around. So for Isaac Price, he's got to also think of that as well, as perhaps the battling is important, but just trying to keep that position too, because if he wrecks it in the closing 2 laps here, it's going to be very, very big, as I think Joni Takanen might have, he has taken the final lap. So for Joni Takanen, Jonas, this is going to be it.
It is going to be this for the driver, Joni Takanen. He is coming to the Kemmel Straight for the last time. This is the fulfillment of the dream. He is from Marunummi in Halikko, started iRacing in the year of 2015, learned rapidly. He got up to 4,000 iRating within his first month. He has been learning with all of the veteran Finns. He is right now on the roadside, part of Glacier Racing. Nowadays, he's got over 7,000 iRating. He's been one of the most rapidly growing and most rapidly improving Finnish GT drivers that we have seen in the last few years. You will hear a lot from this name as time rolls along, but right now Joni Takanen has proved himself to be the best of the best when it comes to mastering the Corvette C6R at Spa-Francorchamps. He's coming through Pujon last time. I believe his family might be watching from the home as well. They are cheering on the daddy, the husband, Joni Takanen, as he comes through the last time, coming into campus. Then it's a Stavolo and Blanchimont and that treacherous bus stop chicane left. He is going to bring the victory unless something happens in the last few corners to Club Finland here. But is it going to be enough? We just don't know. I can analyze all I want to the point situation, but we just don't know if Finland or UK and Ireland are going to be the World Cup champions. It might be another battle that decides that, but Joni Takanen coming towards Blanchimont, then coming through it. His pace has been incredible. He is over 8 seconds ahead of Riku Alatalo here. He is 15 seconds ahead of Isaac Price, the closest competitor from a club that isn't Finland. So coming to the bus stop, it is going to be Joni Takanen's time to shine on the worldwide spotlight. Joni Takanen coming over the line to take the race win here at Spa-Francorchamps, and it is Takanen who takes the victory for Club Finland. Coming second is Riku Alatalo. Riku Alatalo coming home in your second place. Then it's Isaac Price making mistake on the last corner at the bus stop. Will Tommi Haka get a good enough for a run on the exit? I don't think he will, and as a result Isaac Price is going to come home on the third place. Tommi Haka fourth, right behind him. Then it's Kim Eriksson. In your sixth place it is Rob Reed that is bringing home the second best place for Club UK and Ireland in the sixth place. He did a good race. He was able to avoid all the difficulties. J.J. Nylander in 7th place. Mika Haapanen following in his tow, but he is multiple laps down as a result of that lap 2 incident. And in P number 8, Jimbo Pfeiffer, the lone soldier from Club Northwest, who did a really brilliant race. Dave Williams in your P number 9 is actually able to overtake on these last few laps Mikko Paavilainen, who as a result has to relegate himself to P number 10. Then it's Tobias Soltau in P number 11, so it all went wrong for Finland in that battle. Christian Challenger coming home in your P number 12 ahead of Dragan Nikic. Jamie Fluke, Club UK and Ireland, coming home in P number 14. Marcel Fassbender. And then we are going to wait a long time for Mitchell Cornett, who was actually passed by Mikko Nurmi on the last lap, so it's going to be Mikko Nurmi next. Then I believe it's going to be Mitchell Cornett, Mike Rochin, Brian Bennett, and Niklas Laubis rounding out your top 20. And I believe we are going to need the points just about now, Cisco.
Yeah, we are, and I'll let you catch your breath there, Jonas. So, cars starting to finish up here at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, and you see the 10 car. Joni Tamala, I don't think the points are even official yet. He doesn't care. He's doing victory donuts. It looks like you're doing something out there, out in the apron there. But what a win for that 41 car. So now we wait patiently for the points. It looks good for Finland. We can't deny that right now, Cam. But we just don't know. UK and Ireland had a very good oval race. We just don't know.
No, we don't. And I'm going to
There's a
go back
parking
and see. Yeah, there is. I'm going to go see just when. It was actually the lap before last that Mikko Paavalainen ended up having that position lost to David Williams. I'm going to see here exactly how that went on. Oh, goodness. I see what has happened. There was an incident between Tobias Soltau and Wayne Hutchinson. This was on the just imagine them coming up the bus stop, these two cars.
We'll try and find it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, yeah. As it was Wayne Hutchinson's, it'll be his, it'll be his last lap, I actually believe, as they were coming up the bus stop, and ended up, Mikko Paavalainen ended up getting collected in that, and David Williams, all right, sweet. David Williams ended up coming right on through, so David Williams, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he had lost the battle, but had won the war.
And I honestly don't know how far back in the replay we went there. I was pressing the replay button several times, so we could be here for a little while while we try and figure out what happened in this final battle here. But we're watching from David Williams here, and oh, there it is right there. Holy cow, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just, it was just a two-car incident between two cars that were quite a couple of laps down. As they were working their way through this final stage. I don't believe that this was a battle for position. It was not, as it was a position 9th place car versus a number. And actually, for Tobias Soltau, that pushed him behind David Williams and Mikko Paavalainen. So David Williams actually coming home in 9th instead of 10th like he was fighting for. Jonas, that's actually a fairly large development.
It is, and I did mention that at the end of the race briefly, but I'm not blaming anyone for not listening to me. I mean, it's usually the valid strategy. Now, what is going to be important is that Mikko Paavalainen saw that wreck from a long way back. He was braking. Now, what happened there that he was getting on the throttle? David Williams gave him a bit of a loud tap on the back, and that pushed Mikko Paavalainen so far wide that he had no choice but to try to avoid the wreck on the right side, which was obviously not the way to go. I'm not blaming David Williams necessarily for that, but Mikko just couldn't turn in after the tap, and he was just trying to get on the throttle as early as possible, and well, it seems to be a very precarious situation. David Williams either way benefiting from that and coming home in P number 9, Tobias Soltau being hurt in that incident, coming home in P number 11, and Mikko Paavalainen 10 rounding out the top 10. So once more through your race results, ladies and gentlemen, it is Joni Takanen winning this race by the gap of 8 seconds ahead of Riku Alatalo, both for Club Finland. Then UK Ireland, Isaac Price, Finland, Tommi Hahka, Finland, Kim Eriksson, UK Ireland, Rob Reed, JJ Nylander for Finland. For Club Northwest, Jimbo Pfeiffer, what a great performance from him, coming up from P number 16 to P number 8. Hence David Williams for UK Ireland in P number 9, as we talked about, and Mikko Paavalainen for Finland in position number 10, rounding out your top 10. Now we are still waiting on the final points confirmation. So, as a result, as it stands right now, we don't still have a World Cup winner, ladies and gentlemen. There are many speculations about that, and there are also some things that need to be looked over from the side of the judges, because the Sebastian Job incident, what kind of a penalty will that occur, if any? The last incident as well between David Williams and Mikko Paavalainen, will that occur any penalty? Various other incidents that call bring penalties, and I hate to say this, and I hate having these things decided on the judges rather than on the track, but sometimes you need good stewarding, Cisco, to really bring this event in the glory it belongs. But sadly, this year we are just going to have to wait and see on the results instead of declaring them right away.
Absolutely, and while we're waiting on that from Michael Lett, Series Director, we're going to take a moment and step aside. Thank you for watching the finals of the 2006 World Cup of iRacing. We're going to head to commercial. We'll be 16. Right back here, and we'll bring you hopefully some driver interviews, and maybe we'll let you know who's going to come out on top. You're watching the World Cup of iRacing from 2016, the finals from Spa here. They're over. We'll be right back here with more commentary.
was interesting this morning to come out here and get on the track and look closely at how rubber was starting to kind of take to the track, you know, where there were ruts and spots that looked still like dirt, and other spots were super shiny and had a bluish tint.
We scanned this track twice because we needed to be able to measure the differences between the track before it's raced and after it's raced. With dirt track racing, the dynamics of the track change dramatically once it's raced on throughout the race. And by scanning it beforehand, we were able to gain a baseline that we're now able to compare with the scan from after the race. Take a look at the cushion, see where it's built up, see how deep it is, and try to figure out some of these variables that we'll have to account for when we create our digital representations of dirt racing and dirt tracks. Our associate producer, Kevin Einarelli, was actually quite the soldier, and he stayed here all night scanning so that we could get this second scan, because in the morning after the race, they ripped the track up. So the window that we have to collect that data is very limited. So thanks, Kevin. So we had a similar approach with the photography of this track that we had with the laser scan. We photographed it twice. So we were able to get in here right before the race started, right after all the trucks had finished running the track in, and take reference photography of the track. And then we returned today and took another set of reference photography, and we took photos of all the various elements that we need to account for: the cushion, the groove, the areas of the groove that have received rubber, and the apron. And we have a specific technique that we use to take these shots. We are using something called photogrammetry. What photogrammetry is essentially the science or a method which will allow us to take photographs and extract three-dimensionality from them using common elements between the photographs. And it's a great technique to create textures for our racing sim, and it's something we've been doing for a while, but it's especially helpful with dirt because of the three-dimensional characteristics of the dirt and the way it collects. So it's a really good technique, and it should result in a great looking racetrack.
A lot of what I'm seeing kind of confirms what we already believed and already knew and have already started working on. So, you know, my plan is to get together with Dave Kamer and get in detail about what's going on between the tire and the road, because the ruts seem to be a significant piece of the puzzle, where the rubber shows up on top of the ruts. So getting the tire grip correct on a track that has as much variation as a dirt track does is going to be key.
We know that every racetrack, every dirt racetrack is unique. Different soil compositions, different color, different types of grooves developed depending on the different types of cars. So this process that we've gone through this weekend is not going to be a one-off thing. We're going to do it again, increase our knowledge, and we'll take that knowledge home with us, and it will help us create a better version of these tracks in iRacing.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your 2016 World Cup of iRacing broadcast here from Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium, the beautiful, beautiful country of Belgium, up in the Ardennes Mountains. This 7-kilometer, 4.5-mile racetrack brought us some amazing racing, some real controversy and some drama, but ultimately, in the end, there can only be one winner. And this year, ladies and gentlemen, they have done it again for the third consecutive time, for third time in a row. It is Club Finland bringing home the glory as a result of some amazing drives from Joni Takanen, Riku Alatalo, Tommi Haakka, Kim Eriksson, JJ Nylander, Mikko Paavilainen, as well as Mikko Nurmi and Joni Törmälä and Miika Haapanen, and let us not forget Joni Hagner either. So these 10 guys brought home the victory after a 30-point deficit, and the final points is as follows: 1,221, I believe, for Finland. Over 100 points ahead of Yukon Island. We didn't expect. We expected it actually to be a little bit closer than that, Cam. But all I can say right now, and I do apologize, it will be in Finnish. Even though it is minus degrees outside, the whole country right now is covered in snow, but todella tavataan.
Oh, absolutely, and of course it just goes to show you year after year just how strong the Finnish drivers kennel absolutely is, and for the UK and I, oh, what's got to be picked up once again, coming up just a little bit short, and of course you got to of course give a nice round of applause as. Just the entire crew. It'll be Sebastian Job, Christian Challier, Jamie Rushworth, Isaac Price, Rob Reed, Jamie Fluke, Alex Millard, and Richard Avery, David Williams, and Simon Maltby. A good effort by them, to say the very least. We actually have a member of the UK and Ireland. That's Jake Sperry, not necessarily the racing team, but on our racing staff. And Jake, well, I can't say this is as an American. I have to be neutral here, because this is you obviously are right between, you know, England and Finland. America's right in the middle. As this isn't well, it's not the best ways, but you know what? It's a fantastic race.
Absolutely, and even though I didn't stay and watch the entirety of the spectacle that there was, I think you can look from the first minute to the last, from not just the UK and I, but from every team, that we've seen an absolutely fantastic level of performances throughout, and we've seen, you know, everyone's been fighting, and yes, it has been the Finnish home turf, and they've had choice of car, and they've had choice of tracks, but everyone has been pushing themselves to try and do the best. Everyone's been trying to, you know, put their teams together, and from a UK and I perspective, you know, I think the level of cohesion we've had has been absolutely fantastic, and Matt Dalton's done a fantastic job, be this probably his last season in charge, and with drivers, you know, with dramas 2 laps from the end, sometimes decisions don't go your way, sometimes decisions do go our way. Today, it wasn't our day, and we can hold our heads up high as UK and Ireland. We can go back, we can try again next year and try and win it that time by. But, you know, we had a fantastic contest, and you have to give it to Club Finland as well. They did amazingly to get themselves the win overall, and they did a fantastic job on the roadside.
Absolutely, and this is actually a fairly interesting thing. We've got Jake from UK and Jonas from Finland, and that's kind of cool. We've got the RaceSpot commentary team is literally from the two people that are on either side. So that's obviously always an interesting thing to have. And Jonas, I mean, this is a big effort from you guys, and here at Spa, here in the Chevy Corvette. An absolutely fantastic time, and they really ended up taking away, just really grabbing this race. I mean, if you're looking in the top 5, it was it'll be what, 1, 2, 3, 4 Team Finland drivers and 1 UK and I driver, and I mean that really kind of goes from there.
Yes, the important thing is to finish well. No, but it was really good effort from entire Club Finland, and at this point, I would like to point out also. Huge congratulations to entire club, UK and Ireland. It was even closer than last year. This time it really was down to the wire, and if it wasn't for that lap 2 incident, no one knows what could have happened, realistically. So UK and Ireland was leading after the oval side, and I think they are poised to take it 1 year. But it will be only over the Finns' dead bodies, I'm sure, and this will only help encourage more clubs, more countries take part in the World Cup of iRacing, because realistically it is one of the pinnacles of simulated motorsport, and I believe next up we could hear a little bit more of that from Mike Ouellette, the man behind the World Cup of iRacing. Now Mike, what did you think of the last race at Spa-Francorchamps?
From my perspective, it was a lot of work. Obviously, there's a lot of passion on every side. We were getting protests in live back and forth throughout the entire race regarding incidents here and incidents there, and the reality is that the vast majority of those were deemed either racing incidents or were called, in some way that left somebody wanting something different, right? And I suppose that's always going to be the case with questionable incidents. All I will say is that we had 3 guys up in the officiating tower, so to speak, doing everything we could to make the best call we could without trying to impact the outcome. I heard you mention, not wanting to have the outcome be in the hands of the officiating, and we agree totally. I don't want that to be the case at all. We want the race to be won on the track, and obviously there's a lot of passion behind this event, and that's the good news, so I take no ill will with anybody who's upset.
And very good job indeed. Now, also, I would like to go back to lap 2. I know you don't like talking about the incidents too much, but because there was a big argument on the chat as well from people viewing from various countries taking their own stances behind. What is your take as an official of the World Cup, as a steward of the World Cup of iRacing, on the lap 2 incident between the drivers Tommi Haakka and Sebastian Job?
Well, I'm going to disappoint you, unfortunately. So that incident happened right at the very beginning of the race, and we were just finishing up with the between race commentary, and so I was reviewing a protest from the oval race at the moment that happened. So I was not even in the server, and I would had to rely on John King and Jeffrey Price, the other two admins, to make that call. And their position was that there was blame to go around.
Indeed so, and multiple other incidents as well. We are always expecting clean racing, but very tough racing as well. Overall, we saw Club UK and Ireland, as with last year, make a really strong charge this year. Club DH not being this strong, and Club Northwest, well, not really able to challenge as much as they have perhaps hoped. Now, are there going to be major changes for next year, or is the format going to stay as it is?
Oh, I don't think I could predict that. I don't make those decisions unilaterally. We'll come together as a group probably in a few weeks and really reanalyze what has happened and what we think should happen. I've got my own ideas, and since you asked, I'll just throw out what I think it ought to be. I think we've gotten to that point in the evolution of this event that it's clear that we've got a lot of clubs that really care about this event, and we have a lot of clubs that don't. And I've really tried to put a square peg in a round hole for a long time and trying to get everybody to care about the event. And really my personal preference is to move forward and away from that and allow the teams that embrace it to do so, to make the event centered around them. And that's my long way of saying that I would love to see head-to-head matches, right? I would like to imagine this final as having been Finland versus UK and I. They're the two teams that were the best throughout the tournament, deserved it, and we didn't need to have, as much as I loved having my club in the final, and we love to be in the final, the reality is the head-to-head showdown, I think, is the way to go. I would love to see one-on-one matches leading up to it, but again, that's just my own personal opinion. That's something that the committee will discuss.
Thank you. Always nice to hear from the man himself, Mike Olet. Now, also thank you from my behalf, from the behalf of the entire broadcast team, and as behalf of the entire Club Finland, for all the work you have put in this year and as well as all the previous years. Now, I think up next, Cam Walsh, we are going to have an interesting person to interview, and certainly someone who is quite happy right now.
Well, absolutely. It's going to be Joni Bachmann. We'll get him in here as Joni Bachmann. He's going to be joining us here in the booth. We've got quite the analysis team here. You've got myself, Cam Walsh. If you're just joining us, where have you been? You've got myself, Cam Walsh. You've got Jonas Pohaka on the Finnish side. Jake Sperry with our UK and I, and Cisco Scaramuza, of course, covering. We'll figure something for him to do. But Jonas, you're sitting alongside with Joni Bachmann.
I am sitting alongside a very, very happy Joni Beckman right now. Joni, first of all, congratulations to the entire Club Finland for the third consecutive and fourth overall Club World Cup victory. I am losing my words here myself as well. Now, Joni, first of all, say something.
Vittu, yeah.
There we go. The traditional Club Finland celebration, of course. Joni, how stressed out were you after the oval side had finished?
Not as nearly as stressed out as I was waiting for the roadside points to come up, but yeah, I mean the oval was, I saw after the oval race, like I was doing the math in my head, and I was like, it's pretty even, like either we're like down a few points or we're leading a few points, I don't know, but I mean it was so close that it basically zeroed out the oval gain, or should you say, and I mean we basically knew we had to go all in on the roadside, and I actually told the guys in the TeamSpeak before the road final, I said that normally I would say like just bring the cars home safe and sound, but this time I just said just relax and imagine you're doing a hot lap in a server, just go flat out, and like we seriously have to own this field in order to win. and luckily we managed to do so, even though there was some nasty wrecks. But yeah, in the end we got the job done.
You got the job done indeed. Now, Joni Takanen. He's been a driver I know you are very familiar with. Joni Takanen bringing home the victory tonight. Did you expect him to be quite that good?
Yeah.
One word answer there. Brilliant.
Well, what else can you say? I mean, I know this guy. I know this guy is a freaking alien with any GT cars he steps into. I especially with the Corvettes. He was one of the few idiots who did the full season in the Corvette when everyone else was doing the OP Aston Martin. So I knew that guy was fast. But yeah, I tried to ease off everyone. Like, okay, let's not take anything for granted. But at the back of my head, I knew that Takanen nobody's gonna stop that guy.
And that is indeed what we saw tonight. Second place on the qualifying by 0.2 of a second to Riku Alatalo, 10 and 8 second lead over Riku, and 15 seconds, almost 16 seconds as a matter of fact, ahead of Isaac Price. Now, one more thing before we let you talk in your native language, one more thing I would like to ask you about. What is your take on that? And you know what I'm going to ask you. What is your take on the incident between Tommi Haakka and Sebastian Job on lap 2? Remember that we are on a live broadcast.
I actually thought that I actually talked about it with Matt waiting for the interview, and we actually both agreed that I personally would have called both that incident and the Hagner incident following that. I personally would have called both of them racing incidents, but yeah, at the start of the race on the first two or three laps, I told everyone just if the guys, I knew the UK guys were gonna come in aggressive, so I thought that if they insist on getting positions on track, just let them have it. Don't risk of getting wrecked. And I saw coming out of that specific incident, I was following Tommi's car, and I noticed that Sebastian got a good run out of Lacombe, and immediately I was like when I saw Sebastian move to the late break, I told Haakka, don't start challenging. But my TeamSpeak was 1 second late, and Haakka was already switching into the corner by then, and there was the incident. But yeah, I personally would have called racing in the incident on both of them. But if one was to be penalized, I think it was fair that both of them got the penalty.
Fair enough, and that is a really good insight on the incident as well. Now, one more thing, and I am going to ask you, say anything as long as it is somewhat within the realms of something that can be broadcasted. We are going to let you send a message to your Club Finland subject, to your Club Finland teammates and everyone watching in this northern country, every Finn watching. Take it over. Suomeksi kiitos, Joni Bäckman, vapaata sanaa.
Helvetin iso kiitos koko tiimille, jotka osallistuitte World Cupiin, että ei tätä ilman kuskeja voitettaisi, että te teitte kyllä isoimman työn tässä hommassa, että jännäksi taas meni kolareiden kanssa, mutta ei luovutettu, ja mitä muuta tässä voi sanoa, kuin että poika saunoo 2 viikon päästä taas, ja iso kiitos Trelle-porukalle ja Iivoselle, Elomaalle, niin edespäin, Seppälä, Leppänen ovalisetin ruuvaamisesta. Älyttömän hyvää työtä jätkät tehnyt. Sama Takaselle helvetin iso kiitos hyvistä korvette baselineista, että joka jätkä oli kerrasta nopea tai suoraan portista nopea settien ansiosta, että iso kiitos roadin jätkillekin ahkerasta harkkaamisesta, ja mä en jaksa enää puhua, mulla on kurkku kipeä, mä haluan meetwurstia. Kiitos.
There we heard from Joni Bäckman himself. Kiitos to you too. And next up, I believe, Jake, you have already perhaps disappointed, but ultimately he has to be quite pleased as well with the final results. You have Matthew Dalton next to you.
Yes, Matt Dalton here in the commentary box alongside us here. Matt, commiserations have to be given first and foremost. Not the result that you would have wanted, seeing as how you were in control, you could say, of what was the opening start. Let's go back then all the way over to the oval side of things. You find yourself in a position where you take the oval with a very strong team. Of course, you've got a very strong core there that go on alongside with things like that. And you look at that team and, you know, you try and match your team as best as you can to the teams that Finland can do, the teams that DH can do, the teams that Northwest can do. You know, gearing up a team like that, having two distinct personalities and two distinct groups between road and oval, you know, how difficult of a management task is that, just to make sure that you get everything into place?
with some of it, not that difficult, because there's a kind of a core group that we get every year who really enjoy the World Cup, really get involved in it, really put a lot of effort in, and you know, I just got to say a massive thanks to all those guys. They bust their nuts in ways you can't even imagine. You know, Rob Reed, Christian Challoner, Jamie Fluke did both the road and the oval this evening, and those guys, you know, without them we wouldn't be where we are. It's a little more difficult to herd the cats on the roadside. The UK&I Club I think is so big that we struggle to get everybody to come along and actually come out and race, and we missed a few top guys again this year. As I said, I sort of asked Graham not to take the chance of a lifetime going off to Marrakesh, but apparently that's more important. Like I said, we'll sack him for his attitude, but still, you know, it is what it is. We did the best job we could. We didn't leave anything on the table. We gave it everything this year. There's nothing left in the tank. I mean, I'm kind of sat here completely smashed at the minute. I got to be honest. I'm hanging by a thread. Like,
yeah, I can certainly understand how stressful a situation like that could be. Of course, you were trying to pull in drivers from all sorts of walks of life. You had Ash Sutton come in at some stage, a BTCC driver. You had Will Tregurtha, who was running in the Ginetta Juniors this year. And you look at the sorts of drivers that you're pulling in, and you're trying to match a Joni Takinen, a Riku Alatalo, a Tommy Hacker, and their core as well. You see Finland and UK&I, they're normally at the top, normally fighting, normally trying to get to that sort of stage where, you know, it is going to be a 1v1 instead of having to worry against the likes of DH and things like that. And it all gets epitomised with incidents early on in races. You come to the road and then you see one of your best drivers, Sebastian Job, tangle with one of their best drivers in Tommy Hacker. What goes through your mind when you see an incident here and there? Is it a case of frantically looking over the session, hoping that everyone survives and gets to the checkered flag? Or is it a case of, say, looking at an incident and then frantically filing protests here and there and making sure that, you know, you get the best result possible for your team?
There's a little bit of the latter. There's also a little bit of me in mumble and TeamSpeak and whatever shouting, for Christ's sake, get on, stop knocking around, behave your bloody selves. Yeah, just it's pretty frantic, it's pretty nuts, it's non-stop. You know, I'm not going to get dragged into. There's a lot of discussion and debate on the chat channels and things like that, and I'm sure there'll be some debate on the forums by some of the hardcore, but I'm not going to get dragged into all that too much. Suffice to say that I don't necessarily agree with any of the decisions, but there we go.
Well, there we go. We're going to apologise for a little bit of bad language there.
Sorry,
just heard,
yes.
But yeah, we'll move on forward with that. And well, for you, you know, you're looking forward towards next year, and you see the sort of talent that you have in the roster. And UK&I traditionally have been one of the biggest teams in the world in terms of sim racing. There's always a big fan base when it comes to racing like that, be it in all walks of life. And you see exactly what's happened today, and you know, it does fill you with a little bit of courage that you have become a bit closer than you were last year, and with the incidents that happened then. And you find yourself this year, you're a lot closer, but still yet to taste the champagne and the success. You know, is the team still developing, would you say, or would you say that there's a glass ceiling that you're becoming very close to hit?
That's a very tough one. Certainly on the oval, we're going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. We've got guys running for pro this year. We've got an awful lot of development going on with Apex Racing, which is the team I'm in. There's a lot coming on that. We've got some young guys like Harry Tiller, who didn't necessarily get the best result tonight, who is getting quicker every single week. Connery Maddock is another one. He just gets quicker and quicker all the time. We've obviously got the likes of Christian and Rob, and you know, everybody knows how fast those guys are. But the oval is a growth, and it's a pretty stratospheric growth, and there's a lot more to come from that for sure. The road, it's up to whoever comes in. I mean, I'm now stepping down this year. It's up to someone else to come in and take it on for next year. If they can motivate people and they get people out, there are people and drivers within the club capable of winning it. We should have won it. You know, I'm a bit gutted. We should have won it this year. I.e., you could argue we should have won it last year, but for some bad luck. This year is more we made our own luck and we fluffed it, I think is the correct way of putting it. So, you know, whoever comes in, if they can motivate people and we get favourable choice from Yanni and the guys. We might find it a little easier to motivate people, but I don't know. It depends. I certainly don't see any reason why they can't go forward and win it next year.
Certainly not. And one final question, you've touched on it a little bit in your answer there. Of course, you are stepping down from your captaincy role, and well, you've done a great service to Club UK and Ireland. I think nobody is going to really take that away from you. You've done a fantastic effort over the last year and further on into the distance as well. So where's the big focus from Matt Dalton coming next? Where's his big focus? You know, what is he going to be trying to get himself down on now that he's taken that big responsibility off his shoulders? And who do you think is going to be the best person to step into that role and fill your boots and really push Club UK and Ireland to the next level and really challenge Finland even further than they have done this year?
Oh, I'm not going to get involved in the who should be the next captain thing. Not a chance. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot barge pole. I'm sure somebody will come in, and I hope it's somebody new, with some new ideas and some new things and some new ways to take it all forward. You know, it's been a genuine honour and a privilege to do the job for the last couple of years, and I enjoy the World Cup. It's great fun. You get everybody together. It's a different type of racing. I wish more clubs would do the same. You know, when you get behind it properly, it can be such good fun. We had like 30 odd people in TeamSpeak. You're just sitting there shouting and screaming at every little bit, like watching a football match. And yeah, sometimes it bubbles over, but that's good. It means people are enjoying it, you know? That's what you want to see. So, I don't know, somebody can come in, somebody can do the job. My focus next year is going to be on the oval stuff with Apex UK. We've got some fairly big stuff coming. We've got the academy, which we're going to try and get a few more people into, and we're going to try and pass on a lot of the knowledge that we've learned and things that we've learned through the year. And you know, really it's about getting that and supporting the guys we've got in the Pro Series and things, and hopefully having a couple more in Pro by next year and into 2018.
That seems to be the big way forward, and thank you so much for joining us. Matt Dalton, losing captain here today, but he can hold his head up high with proud after that one. Second place then for Club UK and Ireland. And Cam, you just have to say it's been a fantastic event from minute one to minute last. We've had our ups, our downs, our problems, our trials, our tribulations, but at the end of the day, we're here, we're fighting hard for it, and, you know, everyone has come together and everyone's put in an effort of some kind, and that's something you can't take away. The clubs that have expended so much of their time, their consistency, you know, dragging everyone in from all forms of racing to put themselves together to put their club on the line ahead of themselves. And you know what? I think despite any result that we've seen today, I think every driver across this can do themselves proud after what they've shown. They've proved what sim racing is worth. They've proven what racing in general is worth. And that is the team spirit that we need to see moving on forward. Not just in forms of sim racing, but you could also say in society as well.
Oh, absolutely, and of course, we can't forget we haven't necessarily had anybody from either of those teams come in and give a final shout-out, but you certainly have to congratulate the Northwest team as well as the Diat Racing Club. I mean, those two teams, I guess I should say, absolutely fantastic to get them as well into the finals. And just overall, a fairly interesting pair of races, to say the very least. And without passion, I will say, in the closing stage, without passion, what would we be doing? Just a couple of people talking very monotone, very boring. But either way, though, you gotta have passion. And of course, I think we've seen that laid out here today. It's once again been Team Finland and the UK and Ireland, and at the end, Team Finland coming away with their third in a row. So for RaceSpotTV live broadcasting, for Cisco Scaramouza, for Yunus Pahaka, for Jake Sperry, and for myself, Cam Walsh, we wish you all the very, very best, and we will see you all next time. This has been the World Cup of iRacing Finals, here live on iRacing Live and RaceSpotTV. We hope you have a very fine rest of your day. We will see you all next time. Take care.